Hello and welcome to Passion Project on the Games Done Quick Hotfix. My name is the T-Tree, and this is the best place on Twitch to show off the runs and projects that you love the most, especially when you've unmuted your microphone. I'm filling in for Amber because they are feeling a little under the weather after doing so much for us at PAX East on the speedrun stage recently, but they just don't have much of a voice right now. They are in the chat and bringing their passion, as are all of our runners this evening. And starting off our evening, we're going to have the second half of the musical medley of runs that started last show. We're going to be starting off with a saxophone-controlled no-hit run from Dr. Doot. So Dr. Doot and the team, let's jam.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good to see all of you. My name is Dr. Doot. And this right here is called an aerophone. It's basically an electric saxophone that I programmed to work as a game controller, where every note that I play on the instrument corresponds to a button press on the gamepad. There is a little control stick that we lovingly refer to as the nubbin on the back of the instrument. It's basically like a pitch bend wheel for when you're playing a note. You can go wee 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 on it. I programmed it to work as a control stick, so this is how I move around in the game. But everything else in the game, including the camera and all the menu stuff too. Oh, if I'm in the right screen. If I'm in the right screen. And playing the right notes, it actually controls everything else in the game as well. So, but yeah, we're going to be doing a Sekiro no-hit run today, and I'm here with Gloom, Shadows, and Grand Fomorian.
Gloom, would you like to take it away?
Oh, I thought you were going to go first. So sure. Hi, everyone. I was so excited. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Doot, so I cannot wait to watch this run. I'll be doing some commentary tonight. I'm not really sure what else to say, so I'm just going to pass it on over to Grant, but I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I'll say it for her. Gloom has previously done Sekiro hitless herself and is also an alt controller master, and so is perfectly qualified to commentate this run. I, however, am simply an admin on Team Hitless and a good friend of Dr. Doot. I've mostly done hitless runs myself, but I play Bloodborne and Elden Ring. I don't know all that much about Sekiro. I'm just here for a good time and really as emotional support for everybody involved.
Yeah, well, you've seen plenty of Sekiro runs at this point, Grant.
Yeah, I have seen quite a few, and I had routed my own run, but never got around to actually running it. So,
well, I was going to say, it's a perfect time for it, knowing that, Team Hitless is so well loved around the Games Done Quick community. And I think there's more Games Done Hitless stuff in the planning. So consider this a special preview, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yes. We are looking forward to any and all events done with GDQ. We love working with you all. So I'm just happy to be here.
Well, T-Tree, y'all ready for some Saxero?
Absolutely. Count us in when you're ready.
Okay, let's new game start. And there's just a couple of cutscenes here. We'll skip through as quickly as we can. And on the next Doot, we will start.
All right, we're getting started. So we have a really quick introduction here at the beginning of the game with Wolf getting out of the well. I think that this is fairly straightforward for Doc, but obviously he's on a saxophone, so things can get a little crazy and wild around here. You notice that he's kind of jumping around to fielding fire from enemies. For right now, he's relatively safe, though. You would think that with the saxophone that he'd try to be a bit sneaky, but we're going for speed here, and that line is perfectly consistent.
Forgive me for saying so, but I don't think the saxophone is necessarily the sneakiest instrument.
No, it is not. Your Doots are quite loud. Kind of gives away your position. You wouldn't exactly expect a ninja to be using a saxophone. Now, I mean,
if you're being used as a diversion, it'd be perfect.
Yeah. But we're just kind of marathoning our way through. Most of these enemies are perfectly able to be run past. They all kind of aggro, taking a second to get active here.
Yeah, I have to imagine a significant part of this run in particular, but any hitless run really, is just having a super intimate understanding of enemy AI, how long you can hang out in someone's detection area based on what weapon they're using and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. A lot of learning the beginnings of the game is learning those parts of the route where enemies take a second and which ones you have to kind of deal with in one way or another, whether that's, distracting them with items or, fighting and killing them, or simply running past, as you saw with Doc. Now we're getting into Genny, which people might see a little difference here between tutorial Genny for a typical speedrun versus a hitless run. We actually have to fight Genny here.
That's exactly what I was wondering as you brought it up. I'm like, oh, are we doing this?
Yeah, so you actually have to fight tutorial Genny. Normally in a speedrun, you just kind of walk up, let him hit you, and that and done, but you have to do both phases. And it's kind of interesting because you don't have any of your kit, right? You only have the sword, basically. You don't have any skills, no power-ups. Doc is one hit from death this whole time, but we're making pretty clean work as long as you keep on attacking and interrupting a lot of his moves. Smooth sailing.
Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, having just the one option available to you almost kind of makes your game plan simpler. Like, it makes the fault tolerances much lower, but it means you only have to account for the one option available to you, right? You're not throwing tools to distract or anything like that.
Yep, you basically got your R1, your deflect, and your dodge, and that's really all you need to do, so it kind of does simplify things a lot.
We have someone asking in the chat, knowing that our health is below maximum, the no-hit's already failed, right? No, this is actually, the health was set to 1 at the start to keep the no-hit, quote-unquote, honest. So if we take a hit, we will die.
Yeah, so you begin Sekiro with no HP. It's only if you use the healing gourd or if you had used an idol, I believe, would reset you to full HP. So no, Doc did that completely hitless. You are allowed to deflect in hitless, but if you get a partial block, so not a perfect parry, that does count as a hit here. All right, so we can go around and get some money. We're
classic.
back in the... All right, so... let's see, we're getting through Ashna on our way to Ogre. Doc's gonna be picking up a lot of items here. This is where we're gonna start to see him picking up coin purses, Akko sugars, which will be kind of our big damage buff in the game. I believe there are a couple Goshen sugars, which will allow us for some more stealthy aspects. For anybody who's wondering kind of how Doc is moving, I believe he kind of mentioned it at the start, but he's using the nubbin as a sort of quasi-analog stick. It's not exactly full analog.
Just real quick, it's a
it's
a pitch bend wheel, so that kind of pitch bend wheel. So it's like that's when you hear my pitch going up and down, that's me going forward and backward. I've programmed it to work as an 8-directional control stick.
Yeah. So every note it completely is mapped to one action. Doc can only play one note at a time, so he can only do one action at a time aside from movement. But even aspects of that can kind of get a little weird, like his camera movement, which you might have noticed is a little jerky here and there.
And I will say as someone who does alternative controllers, like, the bosses are one of the biggest challenges you'll face, but possibly sometimes even a bigger challenge is dealing with the camera limitations. And one of the biggest things in this run in particular that we'll see, especially later on, are some of the grapples can be very, very finicky. Especially if you don't have a lot of camera movement.
Yeah, Gloom knows a thing or two. Actually, in this particular spot right here.
Yeah, this was a very memorable. I was actually doing Guitar Hero hitless Shura myself, and my PB1 was I missed a grapple and fell, which does count as a hit, and that was my personal best.
Yeah,
and then I retired from hitless.
But yeah, it's just because they're contextual actions that expect you to be not only close enough, but facing in roughly the right direction.
Yes,
right?
and Sekiro is very particular with where you need to be facing to get those grapples. They're difficult even on a normal controller.
Even on a regular, yeah.
So here we go, setting up before Ogre. I believe. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we're going back to the temple.
Yeah, I like to go back to the temple to get all of my skills now, so that after I beat Ogre, I have all of the talismans that I need, or whatever they're called in this game.
Yeah, the spirit emblem.
Those.
Yeah. That's a tip I picked up from watching a speedrun, I believe. I believe Mitch Riz mentions that in his guide for increasing speed. So you're already seeing the speed run mindset here in Sekiro, even for hitless.
I'm just glad that doesn't affect the nature of your breath control necessarily. I mean, I guess your movement is now going to be a little different, so there's technically some impact on you, but knowing how physically demanding doing something like playing an instrument constantly or near constantly for the better part of an hour is.
Yeah, I believe that Doc had actually begun doing Dark Souls 3 speed runs, and one of the reasons that he kind of stopped doing it on stream is because the breath control was just so demanding that doing that while on stream was very difficult. Alright, so we're sneaking up on Ogre now. We're gonna get a cheeky little death blow here. Gloom, do you have any tips on how to fight Ogre? Is it a super complicated fight, or?
On an alternative controller, it's not too bad, but I think the biggest consideration here is you don't want to get greedy. I feel like this is one of those fights that lures you into a false sense of, well, maybe I could do one more hit. But Doc is doing a great job here. You usually want to keep strafing to the right, just kind of strafing right around those attacks. Getting the stagger and making very quick work of Ogre here.
Yeah, I actually really like this fight for a hitless context because it kind of lending towards tutorial Genny. It's relatively simple, right? It's just stay in front, R1 maybe once, twice, move to the right, and then dodge if you're slightly out of position. And we're already, past that, getting a divine confetti, which will increase our damage for some fights later on. And then it's down to the snake. Now, is this part particularly challenging on all controllers? I've seen, Doc's run and some of your runs, Gloom. Thank you, Doc, for
so we're about to. I'm assuming we're about to see double canyon skip, right, Doc? No.
Surely.
Yeah. Yeah. This part again, it just has. It kind of comes down to just the camera movement and the grapple points. I'm kind of curious. I don't think Doc goes in the palanquin. I still do. I'm scared of the snake.
Not. And it's very scary. I saw this yesterday. I was terrified when I saw Doc do this. So for people who don't know, there's a little palanquin that you are intended to kind of run into, hide, and then the snake gets up close to you and you stab it in the eye. But Doc is going to completely circumvent that entirely and just run for it. Which, if you take a clean line like that, is very safe, very consistent, but man, it looks scary.
So now we're coming up on like one of probably the toughest early game sections.
I was just about to ask.
Do you want to? I was gonna say, do you want to share like some of the considerations with Gyobu and what makes him so particularly difficult?
So I'm, like I said, not a super Sekiro expert. Gloom, I feel, is a little bit more situated towards that than I am. However, I do know that Gyobu can be scripted, right? He has a very particular opening where you get a lot of R1s in, stagger him, use firecrackers, and it leads to a relatively consistent Gyobu, right? However, he loves to not behave. And we've already mentioned the camera, which is awful. And Gyobu loves to run around. He loves to mess up around walls. So maybe we'll see some of that here and how Doc kind of deals with camera issues.
Okay, and he's doing the scripted opening there with 5 hits into a firecracker. He's getting these nice staggers. And you see Gyobu's posture bar just got annihilated there. It was a very quick
So all
one.
of those firecrackers, even if they don't stop Gyobu in his tracks, they still build up the posture meter, which is really what we're trying to get in this fight. And we're already, first health bar down. Oh, perfect. Getting that stagger right before I was about to hit him.
Now he's going over to the wall, which can be a little scary for the lock on. So hopefully there's no camera.
He was able to get the death blow before it was even an issue.
Easy.
Very, very clean Gyobu.
Such a good Gyobu. And Doc made that look easy, but as someone who's run hitless before, I can affirm that was not by any means an easy fight.
No,
and
not
it just
at all.
goes to showcase just how talented and skilled Doc is with this fight and with this entire run, really.
One of my favorite things with watching Doc over time, so I've known Doc for around 3 years at this point. I love watching Doc pick up a game. So Doc shows a lot of his experience running on stream, and you get to see him basically learn how to do things like that, right? Learning the timing for the firecrackers, learning the timing for the opening. It's all very fascinating to watch, and it really does just come down to practice.
100%.
Yeah, I have to imagine there's an element of it that's ultimately like muscle memory. It's like, all right, what does it feel like to do this in a way that, pulls this pattern out of the boss?
Oh yeah,
Great
definitely.
time for me to be able to actually talk because I've got to run across a field. It's crazy because I never felt like I was very good at FromSoft games before I started doing challenge runs on the Aerophone because it really forced me to learn these games in a very different way.
Sure.
And it made the connection of it's like practicing an instrument.
Yeah. And I imagine there's almost an example of the classic acronym that people use, KISS, or keep it simple, stupid. If you don't have to do something, if you don't have to mix in that extra pattern, if you don't have to get greedy to defeat an enemy, don't. Keep it as simple as for many reasons, especially for the purposes of not having to learn to do too much on the instrument.
I would say for a lot of hitless in general, a lot of runners feel that way, and I feel like even more so for Doc, right? Where you're trying to learn the route without thinking about it. You want it to be as thoughtless as possible because you want to be in this kind of safe space, right? You want to be in confidence, controlled, know exactly what is going on at any point, and it's easiest to do that when you have done it a million times, basically. All right, so we had just done a quest for killing some rats. Little quest that we had to do in order to progress the game. Grabbing some Akko sugar, and then we're on to Blazing Bowl, which Bloom, I feel like you would be particularly suited towards explaining why Blazing Bowl is an issue.
All right, so this is another notoriously difficult fight for hitless, and especially so with alternative controllers. So when you play this maybe casually or on a speed run, you might see runners deflecting Bull's hits. However, in hitless, you can't do that, which means that you have to kind of chase him around and try to choose the moments you can hit him, and it's even more complicated when you have to play this locked on as you do with alternative
controllers. The lock on for Bull is just
it's an awkward
awful
position.
Yeah, it's not exactly on his head.
Yeah, but it's not on his body either. It's like
No.
Yeah.
See, there we go. It's also a very awful arena, as we just saw. So Doc kind of got sandwiched against the wall, and then Bull loves to throw his head around and put you in awkward positions. So
he's very unpredictable with his movements. So this is a very, very difficult fight.
I would
almost say this might be maybe one of the toughest sections in the entire run, to be honest.
Wow, she stole the words straight out of my mouth.
Wait, were you really just about to say that?
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
The same page. It's so true. It's such a difficult fight. And I know early on when Doc was thinking about this run, this was one of the big consideration points where he was like, is this run even possible to do?
I feel like this is one of the things on Alt Controller where people get to this and just kind of call it quits, Honestly, and for some
Understandably
people.
so. It's very, very, very difficult to do consistently.
All right, we got a nice little stagger there. Just kind of mesmerizing to watch it happen.
And Doc is trying to do stabs here. The reason why is because that's going to do a little bit more damage on Bull. And he's also kind of aiming for the head, which is going to do the biggest amount of damage and build up that posture a bit. And here
Which makes the lock on even more insufferable.
And see, Bull is just totally misbehaving. So he could have gone into a wall there and the fight could have been over. And he chose not to.
He just
not
decided,
to behave.
nah, not today. So we actually do have to get his HP down to 0 now. That's kind of what this fight ends up becoming if he decides not to rampage into a wall. Luckily, we're almost there already.
Yeah, so this should be it.
Here we go.
Hopefully.
Again.
Oh, he is being so naughty.
Wow.
That's so
That's
bad.
awful.
That's like the worst possible outcome. Oh, there we go.
All right.
The bull just wanted to reinforce all your points about how nasty this fight can be sometimes.
So that was going to be the big question mark, right? I think that it's safe to say this is one of the big early walls for a run.
That is
getting past Bull.
So you were mentioning this is actually the fight I had to test to see if this run would be doable at all. Because the general strat on a normal controller or a keyboard mouse is unlocked.
Right.
It's a tough fight.
It's a very, very difficult fight. And, only made more difficult by the fact that Doc is on a saxophone, right? So doing that locked on with everything else, super difficult by itself. Interesting. I had never seen anyone do this because normally you don't use the item to get to an idol. You just kind of run on through. So people don't usually talk to her. That was interesting, but we got additional sugars and a divine confetti from that, so that's awesome. And we got the gatehouse key, which will be used later in order to get the spear, I believe.
I think he might be going to the spear now, even.
Oh, yes.
And I'm assuming he's going to be using the spear on 8 to make the phase 2 a lot faster.
I believe that is correct. So we call that guy Pots and Pans guy because he loves to scream and bang a little pot and pan together to alert all the enemies. Killing him lets us sneak into here and grab the spear. And some money. Which is always nice.
So we got that going for us, which is nice.
We love that for us.
And now to grab the last, to actually equip the spear, and then to upgrade our skills and get the Mikiri counter.
Perfect, because I assume after this we are going to Genichiro, which Mikiri counter will be very useful for. Is this the last time that we go back to the temple dock, or do we come back here later? Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Perfect. So now we just have to go back to Ashina Castle, make our way up some rooftops and on to Genichiro.
Which is my
Doc.
favorite fight in this entire thing. I love this fight.
Gloom loves this
It's
fight.
a great fight. It's so much fun.
It's a
And you
perfect
do-
rhythm to it.
And my understanding, Doc, you do not do the door cheese, correct?
No.
For him? Yeah, I didn't think so. Because I'm assuming it's not very consistent on alternative controllers usually. So we'll get to see all full phases, which is always really fun.
Perfect. And we're also going to, of course, see front dojo skip. That's exactly what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no. Some of the runs of games like these have lineups and texture clips that are just so obscenely precise that imagining trying to do that with an alternative controller, where your level
I could not imagine in a million years anybody even getting it once. But it would be kind of cool.
It would be really cool.
I do believe that we're just going to run through the dojo. There's a lot of good materials to grab, money, sugars, things of that nature. So it makes more sense for us to go through the dojo.
And honestly, Dog probably won't pick up a lot of things, because the one nice thing on a hitless run is he doesn't really have to worry too much about picking up like prayer beads or getting gourd seeds, because we're not going to need to heal. We're not going to be getting hit.
Yeah, we're not getting hit whatsoever. It was the one hit. We're getting a PB1, and that's it. We do get some Gaussian sugars, though, and those are important.
Those are going to be really helpful for some of the later sections.
And then we just run on through this area. This is kind of another example that I was talking about at the beginning, where if you just kind of full send it sprint, none of those enemies can really touch you. They just take too long to activate and really get close enough to be of any issue. And we're already at Genny. Now, what is the most annoying part of Genny, Gloom?
Oh, his arrows.
In your opinion.
His arrows, most definitely. He does this attack where he goes up into the air and shoots off a series of arrows, and on hitless it can be very frustrating. Normally, one of the best ways to deal with it is to kind of keep up full pressure on him, so that when he kind of pushes back to go do it, you're already on him to R1 and hit him out of it.
Oh, there you go.
So there we see
Speak
it.
of the move.
Yeah. But you can also do what Doc does, where you just kind of dodge out of the way, but it's probably one of the scariest moves that Genny can do in this fight.
Now, I did see that he used firecrackers to cancel a move that most people just kind of let happen, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that,
right here, we see it again.
Yeah, I've actually never tried that myself, so I wonder if that's kind of like a Doc-specific strat.
And I'm curious if it comes down to timing, like this is when I'm used to doing this, or if it's reading for an animation coming off of Genichiro.
That's a really good question, actually. Like I said, I've never really seen anybody do it. They just kind of run away and then punish at the end, but
Got it.
yeah, maybe.
Well, hopefully we'll find out here in a minute, but dude's a little busy right now.
Yeah, he's busy, but he's making it look so simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Granted.
That's two of three phases already.
Phases, yep. So this is going to be a little interesting because he cannot use lightning deflects here. In speedruns, you can definitely use them, but in hitless, it does count as a hit. So he's going to have to be really careful of Genny's lightning, make sure to... Usually he's going to probably try to dodge forward and right to avoid that. So we'll see if we get any lightning.
He might.
He might not. Sometimes it doesn't even happen.
Purely RNG, and Genny's just giving him a bunch of easily punishable things.
Hey, y'all are really setting up for the commentator's
Dang
curse
it.
here.
Oh!
I thought it wasn't the lightning after all.
Nope.
I just goofed on that.
Unfortunate, but still very clean
very,
by
very
all
clean,
of
very
Still
quick
deathless.
fight.
Very true.
Oh, Shina.
And I'm sure we'll never see him again. He's definitely been defeated fully.
Not on this run.
At least not on
I
this
was
end.
going to say, it said execution. I don't know what more confirmation you want.
And anytime you see an execution, that definitely means the boss is dead.
Right.
Don't think about it too much further.
They would have called it something else if that's not what they meant.
Yeah, exactly. So now we get to everybody's favorite part of the run. The talk percent. Where we just get to talk to Kuro for ages and watch him move around the room from corner to corner. This would be a great time to ask questions, get some popcorn.
Are you guys ready for some speed dudes?
Oh, always. Truly, you know the way to Maya in the audience's heart.
I will say, when at least I was doing this hitless, I always did kind of like this part though, because there's so many very difficult and very stressful sections early game, and I feel like this always allowed me kind of a little bit of a reprieve to kind of get my heart rate back down.
Yeah, this is your mid-run break.
Yeah, just kind of rest a little bit and reset before some of the more difficult
The
stuff.
30 seconds of peace before chaos ensues again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm going into the mouthpiece over and over again.
Maybe not as peaceful for Doc.
I imagine it's a little bit more restful in like a Guitar Hero controller because you're just like open strumming.
Yeah,
or
just a
something
little
like that.
strum. Yeah. All right, so we're about halfway through talk percent. We're trying to unlock all of the dialogue that tells us to get, Mortal Draw, to go to Gunfort, get this Lotus Flower.
Yeah, more so than questions, we really just got a lot of
Time
appreciation
to go
from the chat
shopping.
from people. Sorry, what was that?
He's shopping.
Ah, okay, very good. Yeah, we got people
so we're
sharing
going
their
to
appreciation
Black
for how
Badger.
difficult the route is normally. For these bosses, really taking people for a ride, just playing the game casually, and then watching it done like this. There's a certain level of like, I genuinely don't believe what I'm seeing right now, and yet I have no proof to refute it because it's happening right in front of me.
If it makes any of you feel better, I have been watching Doc for 3 years. I've seen him do multiple games hitless. Doc was the person who inspired me to get into hitless myself. I still have no idea how he does it.
I also feel like incredible awe. Like I've known Doc, we were thinking about today, I think it's been about 3 years, and I've seen him do some incredible achievements, and I'm still always in awe of everything he does. Like huge inspiration, huge legend in the alternative controller space for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are too kind. You always think out, well, I can't say anything back.
It's the perfect plan.
It's
That's
all
why
part of
I
our
said
plan.
it now.
Yeah, sorry, get appreciated, Doc.
Take our love.
For what it's worth, I would say they are like showing the appropriate level of kindness and appreciation.
And we've also had the immense pleasure of meeting Doc IRL, like at TwitchCon, and he is literally one of the genuinely like kindest and most lovely people in real life as well.
That's
Absolutely. So what are we going and doing next? I believe we're going to Senpu Temple?
Yeah. And we're actually going to see Armored Warrior will be the next split. And honestly, the section coming up right before Armored Warrior can be a little bit scary on an alternative controller. So I believe Doc is going to be doing a slightly slower but safer strategy to get around some of the enemies around that area.
Yeah, I was watching Doc do this run a little bit yesterday. Even this cave right here, he kind of does a little bit slower than I would say you would on controller, because there's all these guys with rifles and a lot of enemies that can aggro to you while you're in the water, but you're able to just kind of swim past them on a normal controller and there's not really an issue. But because Doc's movement is so like staggered just due to the nature of the controller,
Yeah.
I mean,
that guy-
just like right now, he aggroed this guy and
It's
just
fine.
has to kind of figure out a way on the fly to deal with it.
Yeah.
We got it.
But just because of the nature of the controller itself and being only able to play one note at a time, for example, kind of leads to moments like this where you have to do things a little bit differently than you would.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if some part of reorienting your mind to play the game in that kind of way, like if you could just do, hey, you can only do one thing at a time on a standard controller to get an appreciation for first do this, then do this as a way to retrain your brain for how to play a game.
Well, it's also kind of funny because on the reverse, both of my lovely people here, we should see them with a controller, a regular one.
No, that's okay. I
Fair.
don't think anyone needs to see that. For anyone who has not seen, it's interesting because when you spend, like Doc and I have both spent years doing alternative controllers and thousands of hours on it, and honestly, like you get so accustomed to playing that way that playing on a regular controller kind of becomes more difficult or confusing, or I mean, half the time I forget what buttons I'm even supposed to press,
Right.
because I'm so unaccustomed to it.
No, I fully believe it. As somebody who has tried to, like, I play a lot of kind of 2D arcade style games, and it feels like the kind of thing where like a leverless or an all buttons controller would be a perfect fit. And I just feel like my hands are in the wrong place all the time every time I try to switch over to one.
Yeah, you almost like
hasn't happened.
program your brain to do these specific actions using the controller that you use all the time, right? So this is the section that Gloom had mentioned earlier, where we're going to take things a little bit slower than you might see on a typical hitless or speed run. There's a lot of these little guys around that we are just going to kill one at a time rather than trying to speed through.
Wait, we're not I don't tell the chat. If they hear we're
I
not
know.
speeding, they might get
I know
angry.
at GDQ that might be a little...
It's a bit of a dirty word, yeah.
it's a little heresy. I apologize, but just for safety reasons, because this is also a hitless run.
I was gonna say, that said, fast is good,
Yeah.
consistent is best. Deathless is always preferred.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, except
But
in
that
cases
should be
where
the
death
last of
actually
them.
speeds things up. But since the nature of the category we're doing here forbids that sort of thing.
Yes, hitless and speed, not one
Right.
or the other.
Exactly.
Now, is there anything special, Gloom, about Roberto that you might want to give a shout out to, other than him shouting?
Other than the famous Roberto. Honestly, this is a pretty scripted fight. You actually might have some insight because he has this flurry into a stagger, and I know that this was kind of a very discussed rule within Hitless.
Oh God, chat, she brought up Roberto Stagger. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. Yes, it was a very hot topic in
For a
Team
while,
Hitless
right?
in relative recent history of whether that last move that he did at that flurry should count as a stagger and thus a hit or not. Currently, it does not count.
And Doc made very quick work of Roberto. Or I guess Armored Warrior. I still call him
Everybody
Roberto.
calls him Roberto. It's okay.
Look, if the community agrees, it's like how English is a living language. If everybody goes
Yes.
with it works that way.
He has taken on his son's name. And then we have this one last running section before we get to the next boss, monkeys. This section is actually kind of dangerous. It has one of my most hated enemies in the game, probably. These guys who have pole arms, like double-sided pole arms, and they are very quick and love to jump out and hit you.
And Doc's taking a slightly different route here. A lot of hitless or speedruns, you might just go to the front door, but Doc is taking a slightly longer but much more safe and consistent route through here. Also, those enemies you were talking about, I'm going to be so for real. I've never fought one. I've been too intimidated.
They're awful to fight.
I
in my
think I
opinion.
have thousands of
They are
hours in this game,
absolutely
and
the most
I've never fought
terrifying
one.
enemy ever. Oh. Looks like Doc is resetting the monkeys. Or reset, yeah. Okay, so we killed the first one, resetting the monkeys. This entire strategy is based on where the monkeys are in their initial positions. So we're just resetting in order to get them in a nice little sequence here.
My pun-seeking brain, when you said resetting the monkeys, I was like, Reese's-setting the monkeys? Is that anything?
Resetting, Reese's, folding screen monkeys.
There's something in
That's a
there
mouthful.
somewhere.
But it's already quick and done. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong there except the ghost monkeys, really.
Yeah.
One of the ghost
Like,
monkeys landed on my head last week.
No way.
Yeah, they just jumped and landed on my head. It was very silly.
All right, I stand corrected, chat.
Well, I
A
think
lot can go wrong there.
I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway on hitless runs is no split is free. You
Yeah,
know,
so
there might be you have
My
like
motto is no fight is free.
right.
And it doesn't matter how simple it is, we're gonna be getting to a fight that everybody knows is the most difficult fight in all of Sekiro, all of FromSoft. But I've still seen people get hit.
The dreaded
Even though
Miss Noble.
Yeah, the quote unquote free fight. I've still seen people get hit to it. So
Very experienced runners have got hit to Miss Noble.
that is true. Speaking of, what is our next boss, Doc?
That would be Centipede Giraffe.
Yeah, we have Centipede, but we have I would almost say the running section before Centipede is also a bit of a boss.
Yeah, so this is terrifying.
We're gonna go through the gun fort, and
The fun for
this is this is a running section of all time for sure. We mentioned earlier that Doc has very limited camera and that the grapples in this game can be very finicky, and we're about to do an entire sequence with a ton of grapples and a ton of very, very finicky grapples, in fact.
All right, time to lock in then.
And the whole time we're trying to do all of these very, very complicated and precise grapples, we're going to be having a lot of angry gunners shooting at us. So this whole section is absolutely terrifying on any type of run, but especially on hitless.
Yes, this I would say is one of the most complicated running sections that Rum has kind of done, honestly. There's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of little things that add up. Also, I saw someone ask if you can skip double apes. We will not be doing double apes on this run. There's actually a specific pathing that Doc will take so that we don't have to deal with them.
So to answer your question, yes.
Oh, interesting. He kills the lizard with the I have never seen that done before. Most people just jump on top of it.
Yeah.
I learned something new. So this is where things start to get real complicated. You saw that we take a Gaussian sugar. That's so we have a lower aggro distance for everything. But where we grapple here is very, very important and very easy to miss.
And he got it. That's the correct grapple.
So you saw that he moved his camera to the right specifically so that it would get the correct one. There's two grapples very, very close to each other, and if you get the wrong one, it usually leads to a hit.
Jeez.
And then we wait here for a second to let things de-aggro and settle, and then we're just gonna run and jump. Leap of faith.
Oh, does he do the leap of faith, or does he go off to the side, like to the right? I think he does.
I believe
the right.
he just does.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he just...
Leap of faith.
Yep. Just hope. So there's a very, very rare chance that you can get a stray shot there.
We're just
But
waiting
it's
for a
consistent.
de-aggro here.
Perfect, perfect. There's like 12 guys over here, all just waiting for a chance to shoot Sekiro. Oh, take another Gaussian. We sneak along a couple ledges. I think we kill one or two guys.
Yeah, no part is free, but this is definitely the slightly less stressful portion. So Doc pulled off flawlessly the very, very tricky running section through there.
Yes, very flawless. Getting some extra snap seeds. Those will be useful for one of the later bosses, Corrupted Monk. And now we're at Giraffe, which I believe for Doc is fully scripted. A lot of items to be used here. So we got Mortal Draw. We have our sugars, which are going to increase our damage outputs. You're welcome. I said it for a reason. I believe he uses Ash for phase 1. And then we'll just let it play out and see how it goes.
Commentary is here in speedruns for many, many reasons. You know, the runner being busy doing something else that's physically involved as well.
Oh no!
Oh.
Okay,
So
that is a reset real quick.
So Doc did have some save states already set up.
Yep.
This is one of those fights where if it goes south, it doesn't start the same way when you enter through a fog gate or a fog wall.
Consistent run back.
Yeah, we
Makes
gotta
sense.
get it. That's okay. We just giving 1 second here. I can reload the save state in approximately 5 seconds.
So that kind of goes down to show just how precise some of the things are. So that's, like I said, pretty scripted, but if there's timing is off by even a little bit, Giraffe is very quick.
Right there was actually a positioning issue. I saw exactly what happened.
And that as well.
I missed one of the fistfuls of ashes that I needed to...
Yeah, it hit the like log right next to the wall or something.
And
like
I
that,
was trying to position that way, and it didn't work out. That's okay, though. Continue.
It happens, but we'll get back in there. Doc, I know, can do this flawlessly. Just gotta let him cook.
I messed it up again. Let's try that again, actually. I forgot this save state is slightly different. So let's see here.
And there's something to be said for, you can tell the applied game knowledge, like you saw it on Dr. Dude's face the first time we went into this fight. It was that like flash of recognition, like, uh-oh, I know something has gone very slightly off. Can I adjust for it? And especially in an alternative controller situation, your ability to do that may be somewhat different.
And Giraffe is one of those bosses where the second that something is wrong, you don't have a chance to recover. He's just so fast that you can't really react in time.
Okay, yeah, it kind of goes to answer my question from Genichiro earlier. There are clearly some bosses where reacting is not an option, and this is one of them.
Yes.
There we go. That's more
beautiful.
Perfect.
And we also got a good chance to see why you don't give this boss a chance to fight.
Yes, that is very true.
It continues to be our turn, because if it's not, very bad things may happen.
And it is very fascinating to watch people do it like sword only, where they don't have mortal draw, they don't have firecrackers, things like that. It's not a super complicated boss. It only has a handful of moves, but it's very quick. And like I said, if you mess up but even slightly, whether it's positioning, timing, whatever, it is very punishing. Let's see. This is kind of a crossroads. Is Doc gonna go and get the idol first?
Yes, because otherwise he would have grabbed the other idol back in the cave. Like the
See,
cave
this is why she is the Sekiro expert and I'm not.
You are.
So Doc is gonna come here and grab this idol for Guardian Ape later, but then is gonna backtrack a little bit, I believe, and make his way into a tunnel, which will let us unlock another area where some bosses are. And this is how, to someone else's question earlier, how we're gonna skip Double Ape. Which ending is Doc going for? He is going for Shura ending. So that is the quickest run, least amount of bosses. And the classic Sekiro run.
I'm actually curious how he will deal with the snake here. Because there's
I believe he uses Puppeteer Ninja.
He does use the Puppeteer.
Yes.
I feel like that makes the most sense on alternative controllers. I've never found a very good way to do the like snake.
I found it hard to do the jump even on controller the few times I did attempt it. So there is a way. The intended way to do this is to do what Doc is doing, using the Puppeteer Ninjutsu, kind of taking control of this monkey and letting him distract the snake so we can grapple over. But there is a way that speedrunners use in order to just not have to do that, jump past the snake and run their way into the shrine. But that is very difficult to pull off on the saxophone, I believe.
So now we're coming up on Snake Eyes.
There we go. Get the little jump. Confetti here. Yeah, do you have any comments on Snake Eyes?
Not really. I'm assuming what Doc's going to do, we're going to probably get the free death blow, so then we only have to deal with one of her phases, which is nice. And depending on how he has her second phase scripted, she's either not going to attack at all, or she's only going to be able to get off one attack. So we'll see what he does here.
Believe if he's quick enough, she doesn't do anything. But this is another area where mini boss is very quick, and if you are off on any timing, positioning, or various other things, he will be quicker than you. We're going over here to stealth death blow this gunner, just so we have a more safe fight. Got the Yash, death blow. Beautiful, perfect.
And you just see like how powerful the Yashiriku sugar and the Mortal Jaw can be. If you haven't fought that fight, she's actually pretty tanky, but you make such quick work of her.
And that's another fight, in my opinion, where it's like boss is very quick, not super complicated, with only a handful of moves, but just hits so hard, is so fast, like really just kind of blasts you if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
And this is another kind of difficult parkour section, particularly for certain alt controls. Doc seems to be handling it okay.
Yeah, I think Doc will be fine with this. I will say this part on dance pad is rough.
Awful on the
What was that, Doc?
It's terrible.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So there we go.
Still not
Okay,
good.
that makes me feel better. Yeah, this jump specifically right here that he's about to do, that scares me every time.
Yeah, I imagine on the dance pad when you're stuck to 8-way movement, that does get a lot.
It's very difficult, yeah.
It's the hardest jump on this axe too. It's terrible.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because you don't want to know how many times I've fallen down into the pit with one of the headless
Yeah, at least
enemies.
it's difficult on all of your controllers.
Now we're gonna do another little thing called tree skip to
And it gets it easy.
easy first try, and this might just be the hardest boss in the run.
Yeah, so this is the most difficult boss.
This
right?
is so.
I will show
difficult.
you guys how to properly play an instrument. Thank you.
Doc had
thank you.
better dudes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't do it any better than that.
All right, so now we're going into Mibu Village, which is where we're going to fight Corrupted Monk. Gloom, you have more of the specifics than I do on the quote-unquote cheese for that. You
Yeah,
want to
so
explain how that works?
sure. So we're going to go in and, I'm not sure exactly what combination of snap seeds, ash, and firecrackers Doc uses, but the idea is he's going to be using some items to get her into a certain position. And once she's in that position, Doc will be able to kind of jump up on this tombstone and perform a death blow. So she won't even know, she's not even going to know we're there before she's already gone.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's a very, very quick strat. So we'll see.
It's good in all, basically every regard, right? Like speed, hitless, very safe, very consistent. There can be some issues when it comes to how many items you have, right? So people usually have extra stock of snap seeds, ash. Doc has firecrackers equipped, which also back Monk up a little bit. So we're probably going to see a whole combination of things here. Interesting. He goes in the house. Okay.
He might be going in here for supplies. I think there's like a divine confetti potentially.
I
5 of
believe
them.
you are correct. 5 of them.
Oh,
It's a lot.
and maybe a coin purse.
Spirit emblems?
Oh, and spirit emblems. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those are really useful. We haven't really mentioned spirit emblems the whole time, but Doc had kind of mentioned at the very beginning that he goes to the temple early specifically to have extra spirit emblems. It's what powers all of your prosthetics and makes Mortal Jaw deal more damage. So having a lot of extra ones for these last fights in the run are really important, actually. And you see Monk is kind of backing up, afraid of all the ash that we're throwing behind them, but through them.
Hold on, let me turn on the reversing signal.
And monks.
And just like that, it's already
Such a quick method.
done, quick and
awesome.
easy.
And now we only have 2 splits left, essentially. We have Guardian Ape and then Emma and Ishin. So we're coming up on endgame here.
And the main running section's already completed, right?
Yes.
So
Like,
we
there's a
already
little
have.
bit more going to Emma and Ishin, a little
Yeah,
bit, but not
yeah, there's a small running section there, and like Doc mentioned, if you don't have your Goshen sugar, it can be a little bit of an issue, but it should be pretty smooth sailing. Definitely not commentator's curse there. Now, I believe for Ape, that can be a kind of wild fight for a lot of people, especially who've only played Sekiro once or twice. Believe for phase 1, Doc does do a bit of a loop.
Yeah, the ape loop is actually really cool. The hardest thing with it is the timing, which on an alternative controller, depending on how much input delay you have, it can be very challenging. However, Doc has very negligible input delay on the saxophone, so but I'm assuming this, even with that, it's still, the timing can be very tight and kind of difficult on this.
I assume the positioning is going to be kind of hard too. Because I find it hard to do even on a controller.
So he's going to Yashariku, and then we'll see him run up, and then Mortal Draw. And here's where he starts the loop. He's going to be doing 2 attacks to the monk's head, so R1, R1, going to the side, and doing 5 hits, and then just continuing that loop. And he's watching the ape's left hand. When the ape's left hand touches the water is kind of the time when he wants to start his second round. And this is perfect. Absolutely flawless one side.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so good.
Beautiful.
And now the enemy is definitely down and definitely does not have a thing.
We're going to get the shinobi executed.
GG.
Right. Yeah, see? It's fine.
Easy.
Everything's done.
So now we're on to the final split.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It didn't need the double tap or anything.
Nope.
Wait, what's this?
Oh.
Wait, why is he getting back up?
Well, a good thing we had another one of those swords.
Yeah, very good.
I feel like ours got larger when it went into the ape's hand. Maybe that's just
Yeah, it's not exactly really fair.
Then again, there is like magic and shinobi trickery, so
yeah, I mean our
should
sword's
I really be
on
that
fire, but just
surprised about
ignore
a sword getting bigger when an ape picks it up?
And for this phase, Doc is specifically going for certain attacks that he's blocking to help get the ape into a stagger. Like this will end with a stagger, and then Doc can use the spear to do massive posture damage. And ape is already down.
Very quick
nicely
work.
done.
So
Good.
the spear takes some effort to get, but as you can see, helps a lot, pays off real well.
Makes that fight go so fast.
And hey, if you have a phobia of whatever that was, it's done now. You can look back at the screen.
Yeah, giant apes without a head and a huge sword screaming at you.
Right.
We're good
right.
now.
I mean,
Very particular phobia.
Centipedes, millipedes. Some people don't like those sorts of bugs with lots of legs. I get it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And we only have one boss left.
It's amazing, like how fast Doc is going. Like Shura is the fewest number of bosses required, and is typically a very fast run. But doing anything on an alternative controller and doing it this quickly requires so much skill.
The operative said, "Actually, I think that thing made me quit this game," and that is very fair.
Yeah,
I think it made a lot of people quit.
Like, it's one thing in a Resident Evil game when somebody like chases after you missing a head because you're kind of expecting that sort of thing. But to
It just
encounter it in
feels so
Sekiro-
different
Yeah.
from everything else. Like, hey man, had just finished killing Genny and then some random monkeys. Like, I guess Big Monkey makes sense, but now it's screaming at me and can instantly kill me. That's fun.
Look, I'm not like the most conflict avoidant person in the world, but when people scream at me in certain kinds of ways, it might also just erase me from existence. I get it.
So this is the very last running section that we have. We just need to get to the top of Ashina Castle. This is where we use our final Gashin Sugar. If we don't do that, a bunch of these enemies aggro to us and can throw some knives at us as we get to the top here. But everything should be okay. Fingers crossed.
I would say we have that detection whistle just now.
Ooh,
Okay, we're down a level. What can we do here?
should be okay. Yeah, we just have to go off to the side.
Nice.
It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
Easy. Now, Emma and Ishin, these are very scary bosses on the run. They are very quick, they can one-shot us. And I feel like these are the fights where things can go wrong. Like, I know Ishin has a lot of memes that he does.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very, very challenging end boss.
Both of them, I would say, can be quite memey, and there's, in some sense, no way around just kind of learning them. So for Hitless, it's usually preferred to pick a game where the last boss is a relatively easy one comparatively, right? So you have that confidence at the end to be like, okay, I've got the run. Emma and Ishin is not that. They're the exact opposite. Very difficult, takes a lot of time to learn and master. But as long as you don't get too greedy, you kind of keep in this R1 deflect rhythm, you can be very consistent.
Very clean, Emma. Very clean.
Alright, we buff again before Ishin. And I find Ishin to be quite terrifying myself. He kind of lulls you, in my opinion, into like a false sense of security, where he just kind of stands and aura farms on you and then is non-stop attacking.
No, come on.
Wow. That was unfortunate. Timing was just a little off there. Yeah, Ashen across.
What?
Oh, he just did the 99%.
Oh, he did. That's exactly what we mean with the memes.
Yeah, he memed. So what happened there is that was not your fault, Dot. He memed you. That was the 99%. Okay. Do you want to explain how it works, or do you want?
Can explain because I can go ahead. Before. That's my first time seeing it.
Okay, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, so this is something you have to watch out for with Ishin. So what happens is when his posture bar, that yellow bar at the top, goes to 99%, sometimes when he does his pushback move, so normally he does a pushback move and then you get ready to Mikiri him.
Yeah, I've seen many runs die to that, unfortunately.
It's a game character having awareness
and he will not
of the
do
systems
anything,
outside
and it throws
the game.
the rhythm
off.
and
I
then
know
he
what that bar
usually
looks
kills you.
like.
That's what I mean
It's
about
so
the
bad, and it only
security,
happens specifically
right? Like, you
at
think that you've
posture
seen
bar.
it all, you think you know how he works, and then he just throws something like that at you.
Yeah. There's also things he does where, like, depending on the move, sometimes your mortal draw will, like, go right through him, and then he'll, like it'll phase through him. Like, so he has a lot of tricky kind of quirks like that really the only way that you deal with is you just have to get in the fight and practice it a lot. Like, it's one of those fights that when I was learning Hitless, like, at least I spent hours and hours just focusing on him.
Sorry.
Very good Emma fight. All right, Ishin.
I believe there was
Ishin-
some mic issues, maybe.
Yeah. So what they were explaining happened was that Ishin seems to have a special cycle that happens when that posture bar gets right up to the, like, 98, 99%, where he will intentionally throw the rhythm of his blows off to mess with you. And that's what happened to Dude on the previous attempt.
Let's see if Ishin will play nice this time. Okay, but I think because he did the death blow on a Mikiri, I don't know if he has enough time to yash. Oh, that was so scary.
Right.
Okay, that's good though.
Fine.
It's fine.
We're gonna have a little bit of a longer last phase, but
Because that's another thing is, like, when he's going into his phase 2, if you end on a death blow, going and jumping into the mortal draws, sometimes you won't have enough time. So
makes sense.
It's again a very quick fight though. That mortal draw, so good.
He knows
so
what's
clean.
happening. It's fine.
Such a good run. Big GG's, Doc. That was incredible.
Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely incredible work.
Love watching that.
Thank you, everybody.
Looks like we were just over an hour.
Like just an hour. Like that is absolutely unreal. Like,
and that was with a couple resets
Yeah.
A couple
too.
resets too.
couple
Not
resets
bad.
in an hour. Wow.
I'll take it.
That was
Oh,
incredible.
boy. I'm winded.
GG, Doc.
Really, really excellent.
So cool.
Thank you, everybody. How are we feeling?
I'd like to think
Amazed?
that we're having a fantastic time. How are you feeling, Doc?
I'm
Yeah.
great. A couple of hiccups there, and
Sure.
I'm actually glad that I got to see that 99% meme for the first time. It's good. It's always good to have new fears unlocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially at the end of your run, right at the last phase, learning that live in front of a bunch of
honestly,
people.
So, real talk. I got into challenge running through like deathless and hitless and that sort of thing, and so speedrunning is very, very new for me. And this has been the game that I've been trying to figure out how to do speedrunning on this without like feeling like I want to die at the end of the run. And this, I feel like this could actually like going from this into like actually learning how to speedrun this kind of game could be really, really fun. So that's kind of the idea that I was going for, is just like how quickly can I actually do one of these FromSoft games. So yeah, thank you for having me, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you want to shout out? Projects you're working on, your stream schedule, if people want to see more runs like this?
Sure. Yeah. So I am. This is the run that I'm working on currently. I'm still trying to get this. It would be a world's first saxophone controlled no hit run of Sekiro. Current personal best is 3 hits, deathless, and about an hour and 4 minutes. So that's our best run so far. And I stream over at twitch.tv/Dr. Doot weeknights at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. After we finish this run, the plan is actually to try to learn Immortal Severance no hit, which is the harder ending of this game. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Also, Gloom, Grand, if you want to shout yourselves out, go ahead.
Gloom, be my
Oh,
guest.
can you go first? Sorry.
I have nothing to shout out because I used to stream, but I don't really anymore.
Shout out to
I am.
I was going to say, you don't want to say
I'll
check
shout
out
my
Hitless?
team. I'll rep my team over here. I am an admin over at Team Hitless, where we love having Doc Gloom as part of the community. You can come join us, learn a lot of the strategies that Doc showcased here today, and he also gets help from the community. So I feel like we've hopefully given some to him.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I would not be able to do any of this stuff without the Team Hitless community. So, if you are interested in this kind of stuff, not just on a saxophone, but just like learning how to do it on a normal controller, Team Hitless community is an amazing resource. Tons of amazing people,
And we try to be as friendly as possible, as welcoming to new people. So if you have any questions,
you're very good at it, Grand. You're very good at it.
I don't take compliments well.
Look, I felt welcome being part of this, so I think y'all showed off everything that both Doot as a runner and you as Team Hitless as a community have to offer really well.
Well, we try. And I'm looking forward to some events that we have with GDQ in the near future, mayhaps.
Would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you again for having me. Had a great time. Always.
Gloom, did you?
Yeah,
yeah,
Gloom,
did you want
is there anything
to-
you wanted to say specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, the only thing is, I stream. I don't really do like any challenge runs on stream. More of a just yapper, but I do challenge runs offline, and you can see them on any of my socials. It's Gloom Shadows everywhere. I love doing dance pads, so if you have any questions or anyone wants to get involved with alternative controllers, I would love to be a resource to help you get involved with them or answer any questions specifically like on DancePad, if there's anything I can do to help. So yeah, and thank you so much for having us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this experience. Always love getting to commentate for Doc, being part of GDQ, lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Yeah, and thank you all so much for being here and showing off that saxophone-controlled no-hit. Hello and welcome back to Passion Project. We hope you enjoyed that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice run from Dr. Dude. We're going to keep it rocking for a little bit longer. If you're a fan of things like prog music, this run might actually be over faster than you can listen to a song. But do not adjust your sets. This is what I've been calling KH3 on PDP, which is the manufacturer of the Riff Master that our runner Lands the Master will be using. It's a Kingdom Hearts 3 Riff Master Critical Level 1 All Pro Codes Data Marluxia Showcase from Lands the Master. Lands, my friend, let's rock.
You ready to rock?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
All right. I'm ready.
Right. And I know you're not alone, so if you want to introduce your commentator or have your commentator introduce themselves.
I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is OG Scrax, a good friend of Lance here. Just jumping into this fight, Marluxia is obviously all over the place a lot, but he's got a semi-scripted fight, followed with a bit of RNG off of what movie he'll do. This next move here will always be the Scythe here. And then after this, there's a one of two attacks he can do. He'll either pull Lands in or he will do some kind of like floaty rose type thing. Looks like we got the floaty rose. All right. So he's going to spawn thorns here, and Lands will have counter impact, so he'll be able to get rid of these pretty easily. Cool fun fact about this little section, though, you can actually abuse these little thorns as much as you can. If you have counter kick or counter slice, you can actually abuse them to continuously do counters on Marluxia. But the safer strat, obviously, is to use counter impact there. One of the cool things about Kingdom Hearts 3 having multiple counters. And that was the pull-in attack I was speaking earlier. If you counter that at the right moment, you can get a free opening. All right, just a few more attacks here. Getting close to our first armor stage. I'll explain that when we get there. All right. Just another floaty road stack here. So he should spawn thorns again after this, I believe. Oh no, we got the whirlpool. Okay, so he'll do 3 if the whirlpool pulls in, and then he'll teleport directly in front of you as long as you guard it properly, which Lance did. He got the critical there. Ooh, he only got the critical on the first block though, so he did not get it on the risk dodge, which is the attack that you could do on certain very like heavy attacks that bosses can do. So unfortunate miss that there. Critical counters in this game will do extra damage. So whenever you see that character glow red, that's what you want. Here is the first armor stage, like I mentioned. Marluxia will whisper in your ear, put a counter on. He does have armor on at the moment, and you can kind of whittle that down as you go. Counters in this game will do the most damage to armor. So that's typically kind of what you want to go for there. But you can also kind of manipulate there where you can wait for him to spawn at certain moments. And yep, there we go, getting the close in on there just at the right timing. And if everything goes good, he blocks this. All right, again, no critical there, so that would have done more damage to the armor, but should be just fine to get through this armor stage.
And is this Doom State, this attack, is this part of our our data codes, or?
It is not a part of the data code. It is actually just a normal part of the fight, regardless if you have the codes on, yeah. And he's just close here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, unfortunately.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
No worries. We'll give it another go. I was wondering how close you were expecting to be down to the bottom of that Doom counter.
Well, it usually doesn't. It usually doesn't like. I usually get the reaction command there, but
Got it.
It was just barely off. I will point that out. It could have been one counter that could have been missed.
oh, back at.
Closing in here. All right. So you should do the scythe attack here. Oh, no, wait. He already did that one. I apologize. So that was the ready attack. You got to be ready for that. It's very quick, and it's pretty much one of the hardest things to react to.
To be honest, I'm not sure that most of chat is ready for what they're watching right now. But that's kind of the appeal, isn't it?
As always. But yeah, so Marluxia has two different armor stages in this fight that we'll see. There's that main one, which is the Doom counter that he'll do like roughly about a third wave towards midway of the fight. He does have another normal armor stage we'll get to see later on, which is where he will just pop armor midway through the fight. No arena changes. There is a cool way to instantly get rid of that, though. In those moments, if you do just use a fire spell, no matter what level it is, whether it be fire, Fyra, or Fyraga, it will instantly get rid of his armor, and it's an easy way to go ahead and get back to the fight. But here we are back into the Doom section, so let's see if we can clean it up this time.
We got this. Our shredding is clean. Our heart is pure. Well, maybe not Sora's. There's been a lot of debate over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 games over that.
All right. Close in there. All right, just got it. And then here's a big counter coming up here he's got to get. Also, I just saw the guitar flip earlier. I do have a different screen I am visualizing right now, but Lance will do a guitar flip with the actual riff master in the middle of the fight, and it's pretty insane. So you lovely viewers in chat are getting to see even more of that.
Yeah, you know, you always think about what inspires runs like this, and honestly, the opportunity to get to do like a classic windmill during the middle of a fight is a pretty good inspiration.
Pretty good. Great critical counter there, yeah. Yeah, Lance has actually done all of the other data fights, I believe, with the same riff master setup.
Okay.
And he typically tries to incorporate the guitar flip in a swag way, almost.
Terrific.
So he actually didn't use fire there to... This is the stage where you can use fire to get rid of the armor. He must be waiting for a certain opening, I assume. But that is where you can use fire to go ahead and get rid of the armor. Perfect. Oh.
Oh my god.
Oof.
I was like thinking, oh no, it's still good. We still run this. As we saw in the last run, sometimes these tolerances are just so short.
Very much. That's like I said, that move earlier, it's very tight timing. You have to be able to react to it, and even for very seasonal players, it's not easy.
Yeah, but you've absolutely got this, Lance. Like, if nothing else, you're getting all the energy and love from the chat. People who know what you do and are here for it. And hey, so am I. Like, I did your tech check a few days ago, and I was really excited to be able to watch this. So being able to do it from the front seat here is just that much more fun.
Yeah, if anyone didn't know, Lance is indeed the master. So
I've heard this.
Comes with the territory. I will take a second to kind of explain the all-pro codes. I don't think we actually did for anybody that doesn't know. So Kingdom Hearts 3 with the Remind DLC added a bunch of little like cheat codes, I guess that you could call it. There was a set for making the game a lot easier, and there was a set for making the game a lot harder. So I believe there's about 13 in total, but they do things from a variety of, as you can see, Lance's magic and his health is slowly draining throughout the fight. They do things where they completely restrict any kind of healing items or spells whatsoever. They restrict any kind of form changes, grand magic, anything extra that's going to help you in the fight. Pretty much you're not going to have it. So it makes, along with being level 1 and having, absolutely lowest stats possible, he's having all the restrictions.
Right. Anything that would mitigate level 1 critical by letting you like skip phases by doing one big burst of damage. No, not today.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Lance, the master he is, decided to do it with a guitar.
Of course.
So
yeah, would absolutely love to talk about that a little bit later on. I think we're a little busy right now, so
Of course.
We'll touch base on that after the fight. There we go.
Here, dispel. There we go. Out of that doom. It's a very, very nerve-wracking stage of the fight.
You say that like there's a
Here we
part of
go.
this fight that isn't nerve-wracking when you're playing it with this many restrictions.
It's a fair point. Yeah. Another kind of thing to kind of talk about with these fights in general is that Kingdom Hearts fights will have something called revenge value, or RV as we like to call it for short. Pretty much it's a hidden meter that's slowly building up as you deal damage to the boss. And once that meter gets completely full, that is when the boss will be triggered with his AI to retaliate. Sometimes you can push that RV to, you know, make the boss do a certain attack afterwards that you're expecting. Lance in particular is actually not hitting the RV to help set up for more convenient timings.
I see. So there's a certain level of aggressiveness that would be available to us, but would elicit bonus attacks or other things of that nature if we kind of filled the meter.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
And you know, it differs per fight too.
Okay.
Every kind of fight kind of works its way differently with the RV, and you know, depending on the fight or how you want to do it. Oh, that was a great reaction there. I want to point out the water into that guard. Like that was not easy. I want to. Whoever saw that, let's get some dubs in the chat for that. That was very good.
Yeah, a really strong
yeah,
reaction to a difficult circumstance.
Yes. So this is the kind of like second version of the Doom Arena. He won't do the armor there, but as long as you can catch him in the counter or in the combo there, that he'll just get rid of it immediately. Much easier version of it. We should be getting close to second stage of this fight, I believe, or second phase.
Yeah, we're right about at the halfway point in terms of number of health bars, if I'm doing my math right.
Correct. Marluxia, we're ready.
I'm sure that's your cue.
Okay. Here we go. One cool thing too, along with these fights with that revenge value I mentioned earlier, we won't really see much with the setup kind of Lance has here, but in general, the counters that you will do where you block and then perform a counter don't actually add any RV to the fight. So
interesting.
Anytime you can do a counter, you're not adding RV. So there's some times where you can string together, kind of like I mentioned with the extra little thorns that he can spawn. If you can continuously use those to do counters, you'll pretty much never push the boss's RV.
Yeah, it's kind of a safe action, if you will, in terms of routing out what fighting actions are available to you.
Yeah, and it just allows you to get more damage overall without having to deal with be more offensive without being defensive. What just happened there? That's very weird. Very weird. So normally you use counter impact there to get rid of all the thorns because it has a area of effect with that. Unfortunately, that one thorn did not get hit though, so I'm not exactly sure how that happened.
I think like I won't say gargoyle, but I think they all have different times with a suit.
It's okay. You got this, Lens.
That does happen to me sometimes in practice, and I'm like, I hope that doesn't happen.
I genuinely didn't visually recognize that anything was wrong. It just kind of showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that Sukes,
The thorns that shoots the little lasers. The thorns, yeah. Yeah. So as you see there, most of the time the counter impact will get all of the rest of those.
You know what's funny about actually really that I got lucky there, honestly.
Yeah, no, I can see you can clearly see the difficulty. That was a great object example of why that's so tough, because you were tracking objects or trying to react to objects that were coming from out of camera focus.
Yes. That's the beauty of it sometimes. Sometimes these thorns, you know, they have their own AI, so they'll move off camera and you kind of have to react accordingly. Just continues to show Lance's skill with knowing this fight.
Yeah, you might say it's down to knowing their rhythm, if you will.
Yeah, if you will. No pun intended. Or maybe it was.
Some puns intended.
Some puns.
Puns are usually intended over here.
Yeah, of course. Right, counter there. Good openings. Wait for this guard here. Perfect critical counter there. Just a little more damage and we'll be able to dispel.
Come on, give us an opening. There we are.
There we go. Back into the fight. That's what sucks about some of the armor stages in this game with these bosses is that you're not actually dealing damage to their health, so it's kind of like a annoying waiting game until you can get back to the actual fight.
Right. It's bonus phases that you have to wait on.
Yes.
And I imagine some people out there watching can really appreciate better than I can. I actually just picked up the Integrum collection on Steam, so I haven't had the chance to play Kingdom Hearts 3 yet, but like the feel for this game and knowing the way the game controls probably adds so much to your appreciation of what it takes to react like this, how to refigure Sora to like be ready to go for all of these different attacks.
Yes. It's one of those games where it's so well like the series as a whole is just so well designed where, you know, casual players can enjoy it. You don't have to think too much about it. However, the combat itself is so in-depthly designed that you get situations like this where people can do so many fun and unique things that really expand on what you didn't see at face value.
Yeah, in a way, it kind of makes me think of the likes of like Monster Hunter, where the standard version of the game, you know, as you're just playing through the story hunts, is generally pretty relaxed, but you can make it extremely difficult for yourself and learn how to use all of your abilities to the utmost, like we're seeing Lance do here.
Oh my god, I'm so
there.
sorry. I don't know how those phones. This doesn't. I don't know what's going on with these phones.
Yeah, you did close in on that one there too.
Yeah, and then probably sort of. I think on that last attempt, what sort of happened was I sort of been more passive after I got the last phone.
Something I just remember, I think it's worth noting too. I believe, Lance, you do have the star medals on, right? So that you can take a hit.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So with the pro codes and level 1 and everything, typically you would be one shot. You wouldn't be able to get a hit. But there are abilities in the game called, I think in this game it's called withstand combo, but in most of the games it's called once more, if anybody's familiar with that. But then there's another ability called second chance. Those two in tandem together will typically give you a second chance on a fight, or, you know, be able to get back in and have a one get out of jail free card, if you will. You wouldn't typically have that in the game because you don't level up, so you won't get the ability, but there are certain equipment in the game that will have it on there.
I also have Wizard's Ruse on as well, and it actually worked.
Okay.
So I'm still 2 hits. I'm back to 2 hits.
Good, yeah. I believe Wizard's Ruse, it's when you use magic, you get a little bit of health back. Is that correct, Lance? Or something similar?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. So little adjustments you can do to your equipment that can help you give you that a little bit of nudge in the fight. Here we go, back into Doom phase.
It's time to finish him.
While we get through this, not really gameplay related, but the Kingdom Hearts series is just so well known for just great music and OST. This music going on in the background is very good.
Oh yeah, no, the likes of Shimamura and Utada, both absolute legends in their craft and in general.
Yes.
Like Yoko in particular, I'm a big fan of from previous works, like Legend of Mana for the PlayStation 1, and all the way back to, I think she is one of the co-authors of Guile's theme from Street Fighter 2. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, a legend from a long time ago and still today.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting word from production that I think we're looking at one more here, so let's make this one count.
That's valid.
You got this, Lance. I believe in you.
Settle down.
Yeah, this fight is no cakewalk, so we really appreciate the patience on getting through this.
Hey, absolutely. We've had that much more time to talk about like the mechanics of this run rather than just see it happen before we even understood what was going on. I certainly cannot complain at all, and I don't think anyone in chat is thinking about it either.
Ready?
Can you talk, Scrax, a little bit about like just how tight the parry windows are, and like do we have to parry the individual blows that come in during these defensive periods?
Yeah, so, you know, pretty much most things can be blocked or parried. Okay. And like I was saying earlier, the critical counter is where if you parry within the last like couple frames of the boss actually attacking, your sword will glow red and you actually do get a boosted damage on your counter. But yeah, for the most part, you can typically like guard without too much time frame, like just to get the normal defense.
Okay.
But there are certain attacks where like the boss will glow red, or just in general have a certain like aura about it, where the attack actually is not guardable, and you have to be able to look out for those and dodge them, for instance.
Got it. Okay.
A great example we've seen a couple times in the fight where Marluxia will go up, slam down, and kind of send like a pink energy wave out. Is this it? Yeah, that one actually, right there. You cannot block that pink energy wave. You have to dodge it in some way or form. Yeah, most block timing kind of comes down to knowing the animation time limit of Sora's block itself, and then the timing of when the boss will actually hit.
Okay, so the block itself like expires if you're holding it too long. Is that what I was hearing when you said the animation length, or is that for it to start?
No, so it's like you don't necessarily hold it, so you only get one press of it, and then Sora will do like a one animation, typically about like a second. I've never timed it, obviously, but
got it.
Pretty much while the animation goes out of Sora turning around and holding the keyblade out, that's when your block is open. And then the second that Sora starts to lower his guard, you're completely open for attack. So it's pretty
done. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty open to retaliation there. And that's when it gets important to know the timing of attacks and such.
And I presume there's some amount of downtime where you can't block again in between them.
Yes, indeed.
Let's get in there.
There you go. Dispel.
Nice.
Good recovery. Great reaction. There's even some different guards in the game where, like Sora, because he sticks his Keyblade out in front of him, most of his guard area is in front of him. I do believe there's still an opening in the back where if you kind of don't have the camera positioning properly, you can still get hit even if your guard is active. But there are some other guards with different forms in the game, which are a barrier guard, which is kind of what it sounds like. It's a barrier that Sora can magically conjure, which will 360-degree block all around.
There's no hope for you.
Here we go. No doom stage here. Should be pretty easy to clean up. And there we go.
Right. Let's keep rocking. Get to a new PB on this showcase. Take it all the way home.
Let's do it.
Yeah, genuinely, from my perspective, as somebody who doesn't have the experience in this game, even trying to read the visual language of this is like a bit of an enigma to me. Like, some places you can tell an attack is coming, but some places I just can't. So,
yeah, even as seriously experienced players, it's still kind of hard to judge it sometimes. So I completely get that. Here we go. Yeah, these bosses, they have a lot of going on at one time, so it's definitely a lot thrown at your face, and it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, and sorting through that is half the challenge.
Yeah, and I imagine there's an extent to which it's like, bonus fights in a lot of Final Fantasy games where the expectation, or a lot of like Souls-likes, where they kind of expect you to get one phase further with each attempt at it because they're going to throw new things at you that you aren't expecting.
Yes.
Doing really good. Is there anything else that we're looking forward to over the last couple of health bars here?
There is something towards the end of the fight where Marluxia will, once you get him to 1 health, he kind of like fakes out and does a signature attack. We'll get to that though, of course. I was going to explain that later.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, we've seen most of Marluxia's attacks now that we're into like fully into second phase. He's kind of integrated as much as he can, so it's more just sorting through the rest and cleaning up the rest of the fight.
Integrated on a data fight. I see what you did there. All right, another quick out to that separate phase.
There we go. Oh, here we go. And easy.
Nice.
I say easy. I know it's not. I want to clarify that.
I mean, at the very least, I appreciate that clearing these patterns, I was going to say predictable. I'm like, no, not really. It feels like the tempo of these have changed each time, but clearing one of those patterns successfully gives us at least a definitive window to strike back and do some damage. Imagine if that wasn't an option. You just had to like ferret out where your opportunities were.
Yes. Getting close to the end here, so I'll kind of start to explain the kind of fake out he will do. So once you get Marluxia to 1 health, what will happen is that he will kind of whisper in your ear and put another countdown on you. It will be at 99 this time, and it will just pretty quickly start to count down. And if it reaches 0, you will effectively die.
Lovely.
So the idea is you just kind of wait out the big attacks that he will throw at you until he's finally open right there at the end, which is usually within the last 10 ticks of what you have left. So you definitely have to act pretty quickly.
All right.
All right, last health bar here. Let's clean this up.
It's almost time for Sora's and Lanz's solo. Let's bring it on home.
There should be one more opening. I think we'll have this here. Perfect. All right, we should be able to clean it up right here, and we'll be into this. There we go, 1 health. And here comes the whisper. All right, so Marluxia will throw a lot of scythe attacks. It'll be kind of in a sequence. The first one will be about 5 blocks that you need to do, and then you have to dodge. And then it'll be, I believe, 4. And then it jumps down to 2. And then you have to just dodge about 3 times before he's finally open. So there's 4, dodge, 1, 2, dodge, 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 and they just jump up. Water for a clear ending. Lance hit us with a little bit of a fake out there. Since he was actually above the health limit, he could get hit one more time. Decided to flex on us with the water there. So let's give a good shout out to Lance there. That was a great job.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
To be honest, I didn't know that's what I was looking at.
Thank you for being patient, by the way. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, no, our pleasure.
Yeah. I'll be 100% honest. I didn't know that water was coming either. I also had my heart drop.
Yeah, you heard me gasp.
I did a little bit early, but I didn't die. So
very good.
Yeah, the idea.
I think I hit him before he hit me. So
yeah. So the idea that one cool. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Lance. We were talking about it a little earlier while you were, busy. But what it inspires you to do a run like this, specifically with like the Riffmaster? You know, we were talking a little shop on like plastic guitars in different eras of history. Was it this one specifically? Was it wanting to do it on a guitar generally? Where did that come from?
I wanted to do a guitar playthrough for a while, but I have this old dusty Rock Band guitar, and it doesn't have an analog stick, so I can't move Sora.
Sure, okay.
But the Riffmaster has an analog stick, so that's how I was able to do this playthrough in the first place, because I have to move Sora to play the game. So
yeah, so essentially you had this idea in mind, knowing that the guitar can do certain inputs, but you had to wait for a guitar to become available on the right console, or on the PC that also had the analog movement stick.
Yeah, basically. And I like it.
good.
The other ones are kind of like D-pads, so that I like the Riffmaster because I move better with the analog stick.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, like you and I were talking, the Riffmaster, the new like crooked guitars, those kinds, they all have the free movement stick rather than a D-pad, so that makes sense to me. I think that might actually be the first thing here during this showcase that I've made proper sense of. So feels nice to have one right at the end. But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like us to know, Lance and Scrax, about what people can watch, what your current projects are, or anything else like that.
Well, first thing I want to say is I want to give a big shout out to the Black and Flash stream team. We are a collective of Black challenge runners and speed runners, and we are the best Black speedrunners and challenge runners in the world, and we do a lot of fundraisers throughout the year with GDQ, examples being Back to Black in February for Black History Month, and Juneteenth in June. And also want to give a big shout out to the GDQ team. Big shout out to Amber. I know they couldn't be here this evening. They got sick, and I hope they have a speedy recovery. I also want to give a big thanks to you, T, for being a lovely host, as well as Richard and the entire GDQ staff. I'd like to give a big shout out to Scrax, one of the best Kingdom Hearts players in the world. I only want the best of the best on the couch. Who knows what's going on, and I think Scrax matches that. I am on Twitch hiatus at the moment, but I am active on YouTube. I just put a brand new video called "Can I Beat Kingdom Hearts with a Guitar Controller?" Spoilers, since we're here, I did. But
I was going to say, I'd like to think that people just saw some proof that is eminently possible.
Yeah.
Even the really hard parts.
Yeah. So, I just want to say thank you. This is awesome.
Hey, our sincere pleasure.
Yeah, sure.
Rax, all you.
Yeah, share that same sentiment. Thank you. Big shout out to Lance for incorporating me out here. It's always good to kind of get to contribute to the challenge running aspects. I'm a big advocate about that in Kingdom Hearts community. I also do a lot of kind of video essays and gameplay analysis and stuff on my end on YouTube, kind of getting up in there with that, getting started. So, really enjoy Kingdom Hearts, really enjoy opportunities to get in and be a part of this and be able to grow kind of, knowledge about the game to the rest of the community. Yeah.
Very,
I'm glad
very,
the camera.
very cool. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad the camera waited to freeze till after I beat him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Imagine if we were doing this shout out portion and your camera was just frozen on you with like the guitar around your back. I mean, that would be a pretty cool way to end, but all the same.
That'd be a bummer if
No, I love that we were able to get in just that one more, that one extra chance until we got things settled and got the run that brought us home.
Got the win. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that is not all for our broadcast evening. Stay tuned for even more. And welcome back to Passion Project, the best place on Twitch to show off the things that you love the most. My name is Atitri, filling in for Amber Cyprin and hoping they feel better very soon, but having the great fortune to show off some of the amazing things that they had lined up for this evening of showcases and runs, including a run that I feel like I can confidently say you have not seen before unless your name is either Amber Cyprin or a runner Prof NES. This is a showcase of 8-Bit Hero Trainer from Prof NES. Prof, what exactly is it that we're looking at here tonight?
Pay no attention to the screen for the moment. I'd also like to say that It is a blast to be here. The last time I was on GDQ camera, I was given the name Professor Ness in donation comments. Back then, I was Lone Kilton Ninja. So hopefully I can live up to that name while also being more entertaining than your average professor. I am here with a peripheral that is a little bit unusual for this show, not in that it's not a musical instrument. I have turned it into a musical instrument. That was originally going to be my submission, but it was a little bit rough to practice in so short a time to get competent at it as a musical instrument. It is unusual for this segment in that I am going to be playing a game that was absolutely designed for the peripheral. The peripheral in question, actually, despite the fact that the peripheral in question never had a game designed for it in its normal lifespan.
Right.
The peripheral being the Power Glove. Now, I'm not looking at chat, just minimizing distractions, but I can already see chat.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Power Glove. It's so amazing.
People spamming the,
it's so
the
remarkable
from that one movie.
Yeah. But that's not, the chat's not calling the Power Glove amazing or remarkable or so ahead of its time that like researchers and academics and hobbyists alike were pulling it off the shelves and plugging it into their VR PC projects in the early mid-90s.
To be fair, they're mostly just excited to see you.
Because the only thing...
You know, if that's a nice... if you were expecting them to disparage the Power Glove, that's not happening. So that's nice.
Yeah. If the only thing chat knows about the Power Glove is that one line from the wizard, then I think I need to give a little bit of a lesson
by all means
before going into the game to make the game make more sense. Yeah. So what is the Power Glove?
If we need a countdown to get into this.
Sure. Lesson in 3, 2, 1, let's jam. So the Power Glove fundamentally is a gauntlet. It's got a glovey bit, but it also has a big, chunky rubber strapped to your arm bit. It's not strapped to my arm because it's going to come off before actual gameplay, but on top of the gauntlet bit is what looks very much like a NES gamepad on steroids. Unfortunately, you cannot use this gamepad to play a regular NES game. Not even if you were Zaphod Beeblebrox and could wear the game on your one hand and hold the controller with your other hand and your other hand. For the simple matter of buttons. The regular NES gamepad, of course, has 8 buttons, and it gives the NES a very fixed 8-bit payload, 1 bit per button. So if you broke your D-pad, you could theoretically, on any given frame, have anywhere from no buttons to every single button at once. The Power Glove has 21 buttons. It has the usual 8. It has 10 numeric function keys. It has a program key, an enter key, and a centering key. Now, not all of those are recommended for gameplay because some of them have very particular functions, like the center button always centers your position. I think the 0 key also centers your position. Program and enter are pretty much reserved, but otherwise, more than doubling the number of available buttons, you're not going to pack that into a regular gamepad payload. Turns out, when you ask the Power Glove for what buttons are pressed, you still get an 8-bit value, but it is the numeric index of the most significant button pressed. So you get 1 button per frame, and that's it. Fortunately, the glove has other tricks. It has, for instance, finger flex sensors. Allegedly, at factory, it has 4 finger flex sensors, 1 in the thumb, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. Each of those gives you 2 bits of data ranging from fully flat to fully flexed, which you probably couldn't interpret American Sign Language on, but it's enough for like basic rock, paper, scissors sort of detection, assuming they're all working. Now, gloves of this age, after 30 plus years, it is very common to have those sensors broken because once they break, they're basically irreparable. They're cheap little laminated conductive ink strips embedded in the rubber of the fingers. You're not getting them out without knives, and knives are going to break things.
Completely disassembling the controller.
Yeah. But fortunately, even if the buttons are a little bit funky and the flex sensors are broken, the beating heart of the Power Glove, beating at calibrated eardrum about 10, 12, 15 hertz, is ultrasonic. You've got 2 emitters, about 3.5 inches apart, And on the TV, you've got a frame of 3 receivers at about 16 inches center to center. And if you know those fixed distances, and you know the speed of sound in air, and you know an awful lot of trigonometry, you can get the distances from each emitter to each receiver. That's 6 distances, and you can plug that through maths running on the onboard processor on the Power Glove, and you get XYZ position in 8-bit precision, 0 to 255, and you get, as an added bonus, wrist rotation in slightly less fidelity. You got like wall clock fidelity, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, etc. So, just as a tech note, the Power Glove is based on a more professional product, the VDP Data Glove, which used a proprietary electromagnetic field generator and receiver pair to give you also 8-bit precision, yaw, pitch, roll rotation, and they wired the fingers up with fiber optics to give you 8-bit precision on each finger. So,
Okay.
I want to
I
take a
looked up
guess.
the data glove while you were talking about it because I felt like I needed to know more.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing it also spawned a motion tracking system called the Data Suit and a head-mounted display called the iPhone.
Yes, that was an interesting note that I wasn't going to get into. Proprietary term, do not steal. But would anyone in
Truly,
chat
every
like to
idea has
guess,
been done before.
given that the Power Glove launched at about $90, how much does chat think the VDP Data Glove went for? 100? 500?
Well, let's see. You
1,000?
called it a professional class device. I'm going to say 7,500.
Not far off. 10 grand. Allegedly, according to the internet at launch.
Well, improved fidelity, and how many years earlier, if you said, or did you say?
It's. I didn't say how many years earlier. It was not very many years earlier, though.
Okay.
Was my impression. But so you can get the 6 axes for 10 grand, or you can get 3 and a bit axes for $90. You can see just how remarkable it was to get 3 and a bit axes at home for $90.
I mean, considering
Now-
in the PlayStation 3 era, the 6 axes still cost $50 or $60. But
Yeah, we'll get to the PS3 era because I mean,
right.
what do you do with all that data? I mean, if you give Power Glove the correct invocation at startup, as Super Glove Ball did, you can get it to give you any number of those payloads at once, the position, the rotation, the flex, and or the buttons, but only one production commercial game in existence did that. Super Glove Ball, as I said. Any other game, pretty much, if the Power Glove was not told to be full raw data at startup, it would go into its own built-in gesture macro mode.
Okay.
Which is
all
where the
I think I
problems
understand
begin.
What's happening here?
Gestures are difficult. I mean, you consider on-off, like for a button, you consider 0 to 100% joystick angle. Gestures are not only typically 3 high-precision decimal values, X, Y, Z, usually 6 X, Y, Z, yaw, pitch, roll. They are 6 high-precision values over time. You can imagine, like, I don't think there's anyone in chat who, if I gave them a raw bucket of data, 6 values times 1 second at 60 FPS, even if I, nicely graphed it out, could make sense of that data with their big, fat, visual human brain. And if you can't make sense of it with your human brain, you are never going to teach a computer how to make sense of it. But even assuming you could, and keep in mind that you're getting a data stream. No one's handing you a bucket of, here's your gesture. You are watching the data stream and having to decide, where does the gesture begin, where does the gesture end, and also, what gesture is it? But assume you've
Essentially,
solved
where
that
my
problem.
tolerance is to go
Yes.
from nothing of note is happening to something of note is happening.
Yes. So assume for the moment you've solved that problem. The next difficulty is the players, because the players also have to understand the gesture. You get a dozen playtesters, tell them to push a button. 11 of them will push the button, but one of them will say, I pushed jump and he didn't jump, the game hates me. You get a dozen playtesters, you tell them to tilt an analog stick. 11 of them will tilt the analog stick. The 12th will complain that the D-pad doesn't work and they don't trust the analog. Tell a dozen playtesters to swing a sword, and you're going to get the baseball, the Zelda, the Star Wars, the I took fencing in college.
Right, yeah.
But, so, and believe it or not, players are actually kind of smart. And chat might not believe it, but players are kind of smart, even as a developer. They will play the game of what does the game expect from me, even as they are playing the game of the game, assuming you tell them what the game is seeing and what the game expects. But if your like visual designer, your world designer doesn't want a real-time proxy for the motion input in the game world because it breaks immersion, or if your dev team doesn't want a real-time proxy for the motion input in your game world because it's always going to be jittery and irregular, or else you smooth it and it becomes really laggy, then you are up the Kakariko without a paddle.
I appreciate that you used Zelda as your form of metaphor, since that is a game that has been motion controlled in multiple instances.
But assume for a moment you know what you're doing with the data, and assume the players know what you're doing with the data. The third really big problem with gesture controls, particularly in the NES era, was that your game needs to be made for the least common denominator hardware, and that is the hardware that ships with the hardware. So your motion control game, up until PS3, is going head-to-head and layering the motion control and mapping it down to push button. And anytime you're asking the player to do a second of interpretive dance for an action that every other player in the world can accomplish instantly by pushing a button, that is deadly, particularly if it's a competitive game. And that is why, even whether you are playing it on the Power Glove or playing it on a Switch to Joy-Con purely motion control, playing Mario 1 with the Power Glove or motion control is going to be a bad experience.
Yeah, and there's a reason why, players.
There's a reason why Mario Kart in the year 2026 has I'm on tilt controls. It means Nintendo knows that the players are going to get tilted and throw their controller out the window when it doesn't do what they want.
Right. I was thinking separate multiplayer hoppers for, Meta and Oculus virtual reality games, because you want to have your players on even standing. And so players from single player games expected to be on even standing with the input methods they know. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why even now we've pretty much now converged on about 3 types of motion: the point and hold, the hold steady and tilt, and the shake violently to say you're doing something, because shake violently is a good start, stop, easily detected button press equivalent. But
that's true. I remember charging my controller in No More Heroes for the Wii.
Yeah. But for all those problems, players will have problems with motion controls, and it's got to lie in one of 3 places. It's got to be either the player, or the game, or the peripheral. And of course it's not the player, because it's never the player. And it's not the game, because as we've mentioned, the game is perfectly playable with the controller that shipped with console. So the problem has got to be in the peripheral. Therefore, anyone who has played a game not designed for Power Glove is going to have negative opinions of the Power Glove. So what I am showcasing tonight, and I can start moving that direction, is a game actually designed for the Power Glove on the original hardware, just to prove that even on the original hardware, the Power Glove is actually pretty darn brilliant. So...
And hey, you may have left this part out. Who was this project developed by to prove this capability of the Power Glove on the Nintendo Entertainment System?
This MB.
Yeah. If you were wondering why you got such a thorough explanation of the mechanics behind the Power Glove, it's because Prof NES knows a thing or two.
rather 10 years ago, this NB. Keep in mind that I made this game, and I first played this game 10 years ago, and I am not my 10 years ago self, but somehow I can still play this game. So this game uses both the Power Glove and the Power Pad. This is actually a very appropriate time to be playing this game because the inspiration for this game, as I checked my notes before stream, was actually April Fool's. It was very probably, I think it was a ThinkGeek
Perfect.
April Fool's product, 2015, motion trackers, fitness, Fitbit predecessors were all the rage, and so ThinkGeek proposed a fitness gauntlet that had a built-in RPG game. And I saw it, and I thought, I've just gotten off turning the Power Glove into a musical instrument. I have the tech to make this game a reality. So, here we are. I did. And there are various aspects of the game.
Yeah, if you thought there was only one peripheral involved in all this, sorry, we had a mix-up for you. There is also the Power Pad involved in this, and if you didn't know, the NES had a dance pad peripheral or rough equivalent thereof. Surprise!
So,
Chad also feeling like they've been warped back 10 years in time by the mention of ThinkGeek.
Centered. And this was ThinkGeek before ThinkGeek actually started making their April Fool's products real.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
Good
Yeah, look at that. Our cursor tracking around
edges.
directionally and positionally.
Yep. Then both I'm not using the flex. There are some secrets that do use the numeric pad, but mainly we're using the position and the orientation. And a sword, at least, until I break something. So, let's see. This game doesn't really have difficulties, it has modes. Modes that are divergently difficult, tame, exciting, chaos. I'm not changing up the enemy stats, I'm not changing up how you level, what your stats are. Tame is your basic JRPG, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
Okay.
Exciting is still turn-based, but any given turn can be either your turn or the enemy's turn.
Okay.
And chaos is there are no turns.
Just
You get
do
attack
whatever as quickly
opportunities
as you can.
continuously, the enemy gets attack opportunities continuously, and you just have to deal. So if this were a marathon run at a charity marathon, I would usually throw this in as a donation incentive, but because this is the off season, this is Hotfix, I am told, I think under reliable authority, that what really determines whether a Hotfix show succeeds is eyeballs. So we're hovering just under 1,000 viewers. If we can get the viewer count up to 1,200 by the time I hit the boss rush, I will break from the boss rush, reset the console, and we will try chaos mode. So if you want to see a poor innocent NB collapsed on the cold hard concrete, half dead, with no one to pick her back up again, get your friends in here. Let's make this happen.
You heard them. Go out, throw the call out on socials if you are enjoying this run and you want to see even more of it in the wackiest way possible.
So that was the basic game flow. There are two phases. There's the attack phase and the evasion phase. The attack phase is a marker appears in one of the corners, and you have to start a swing at that corner, and with the sword in the appropriate orientation, follow through on your stroke. You can do it horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. The evasion phase is if the enemy goes left. Power Pad, by the way, has 4 columns, 3 rows, but I only care about the columns. If the enemy attacks left, you have to cover the right column and clear the left columns. If the enemy attacks left, you have to cover the left columns and clear the right columns. If the enemy attacks down, you need to jump. If the enemy attacks up, you need to crouch and cover at least 3 columns.
Do
Okay,
we
we're
also
going to
have
die
a
in this
classic
fight.
password system available to us here? Is that what I'm seeing at the bottom of the screen
Yes.
in between fights? Perfect.
Yeah. So this is our first agility wall. Stats, while I'm not having music on top of them. Level is level, experience is experience. You get a new level when your experience hits your current level, HP is HP. You get plus 25% rounded down, plus 1 per level. Attack is every point of attack is a quarter point of damage on average per turn. That is 1 damage distributed across 4 turns. Agility, every point in agility, because I can't like speed up, slow down the player, every point in agility gives you more time to attack, more time to dodge, and the more time you have to attack, like the further apart those converging target markers are, the greater your chance for a critical hit, which doubles whatever damage you would otherwise have dealt on that swing.
Clever.
And enemies have the same
of course,
stats.
you're also you're under the significant debuff of having to evade actions regularly by jumping and getting to the floor as you're explaining all this.
These are the easy enemies. Enemies also have a attack distribution, so it's not just 25% per side. Like, first enemy, the slime, is never going to attack you above, so you're never going to have to do squats. The flying enemies are going to do a lot of high attacks and very few low attacks. Do we have enough speed for bangs yet?
Suppose we'll find out.
Just maybe. If I don't talk too much. Okay.
Nicely done.
Agility wall, but not too much of a wall. Oh, there's one more thing. You see active experience? This is a fitness trainer as much as anything, so every 16 changes of input on the power pad is 1 point of experience, up to a maximum of 15 experience per fight.
Terrific.
So if you really need to level grind,
extra dodging and moving around,
if you really need to level grind, as I might later in the run, you basically just run in place during your attack phase, and that will grind up your active experience.
And now watching you do that during the between fights, I better appreciate that the bar at the bottom indicates which bits of the pad are held down right now.
Yes. And that's a nice note, but it is outside the cropping region of a regular CRT. So I have in front of me, you may have seen when I pivoted the camera to show the frame, that I have both a CRT and an LCD. The LCD displays the actual pad status, so I know a little bit better, again, let the player know what the game is expecting, know a little bit better what the game thinks I'm doing on the power pad, because my feet can slip half a row forward or half a row backwards, and it doesn't quite register as well.
Yeah, and any home DDR player has experienced that before.
And of course, you can backtrack as much as you want, but the new enemy is always going to be hidden until you fought it at least once. This guy is starting to get more attacky. Not very fast, so we have plenty of time to try to get hits in. Or plenty of time to run out our active experience. Although again, if we want to try to get crits, we need to swing a little bit sooner.
I appreciate that we're now starting to get into the routing-based explanations of the thing. Oh yeah, if you wanted to, you could stop for more XP if you want to, not have to redo a fight as a way to get XP, because clearly getting the active XP is faster if your body is up to putting in the number of inputs.
Yeah, and the dominant stat in this game is absolutely agility for casual. And you can give yourself a world of time to evade just about anything. But that means fights are going to be really, really slow, and you are going to wear yourself out really, really fast. First, miss the run. Another thing you might note, particularly as we outspeed the enemy, didn't quite go fast enough. This is our second agility wall. So, backtrack to a little bit more leveling. But you might notice that left, right, and up attacks always have a fixed delay interval, but downwards attacks, I did not want to make the players learn to fly, so downward attacks will go off as soon as you leave the pad so that they are resolved by the time you land. So,
Kind
technically,
of
I
equivalent to
suppose,
programming for coyote time in a in a platforming game. There are certain things that the player should be given a little grace on.
and technically, I suppose that means that enemies that attack mainly downwards would be the ideal speedrun grind targets. Just because you get more downwards attacks that you can make go faster. You can already see that it's a pretty reliable controller, all things considered. When I'm missing it is because I am actually doing the wrong thing as a player, partly because I'm not really used to playing with the big long sword.
Sure. You are, after a fashion, changing your center of balance by attaching something along to one of your hands.
I used to have a really great foam sword that I played this with, but it started seriously disintegrating in my last
Yeah,
move.
when you said foam, I wasn't surprised. I did see the videos of you showing it off in kind of proof of concept form from 2015.
I also have a Minecraft diamond sword, I think it is, that I thought I was going to be playing a game more with, but again, remember, this is a ultrasonic tracking system, and if you have a big panel of stiff blank foam, that is going to bounce a little bit of sound. So my
Turns out
experience is that,
putting something in your tracker's way is slightly deleterious to the effect of tracking things.
yeah. So, it was a little bit early getting out of that dodge. So now we're into high HP, moderately high attack. Not very fast.
All right, nicely done. I mean, I'd suggest the opportunity to take, normally we say things like stretch breaks here, but I don't think you need one of those. But if you need any hydration, assuming you can safely do so with the setup in your hand, please don't hesitate. Please do take care of yourself while you're doing the showcase.
Not quite yet. I figure that there will come times when I really do legitimately lose a round because I'm just not quite enough in the capacitors.
No, understandable.
And I will
I
actually.
also really like the enemy variety here.
Yeah, all of these enemies are essentially in the background layer of the NES,
Ah, okay.
even though they look like sprites. That's why everything moves except the life total, which is actually sprites. NES only has one background layer, and you can only fit 8 pixelized sprites per scan line before they stop rendering. So there's a little bit of UI design here. You'll notice when the sword is at the very bottom of the screen, sometimes the life markers get a little bit not quite enough pixels.
Some portions don't render. Is the intent there with the visual design and keeping the enemies to the background layer, is that to free up more resources for the things that the system is tracking on the glove, or?
Really, it's because you only have 64 sprites. The sprites are maximum 8 by 16 pixels. You cannot build a pixel enemy that big out of sprites.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's
The blockiness. The blockiness is mostly aesthetic. It also saves on cartridge space. This will. The version on my website is a Mapper Zero game. That's just like the bog standard, no additional memory on cartridge. The production carts are actually on a brand new, probably 10 years they might be emulated now, but brand new at the time, GT-ROM or GOAT-ROM by, it was Memblers, I think, on Nesta forums. So we are obviously running this on hardware. By the way, also on the Nesta forums, I got in communication with one of the American hardware devs on Power Glove when I was doing actually, it was for the Miracle Piano. We also worked on the Miracle Piano, and it just serendipitously learned that he worked on the Power Glove. And he snuck me from his own archive the source code to the program on the onboard processor. So if anyone wants to emulate the Power Glove, all of the data should be there for that emulation project. And I think I have probably stated this, I don't remember the amount, I don't remember how long ago, but informally, I have a standing bounty of, shall we say, $300 on anyone who can demonstrate a fully emulated Power Glove on an emulator. And see an emulated run of this game, maybe, hint hint. Got another real chunky but slow fight here.
This is such a fun idea to take something with more traditional style of gameplay. Because, like, if you're not familiar with Glove Ball is essentially Breakout, and there's like a mild 3D effect where the ball is going back across the room and you are controlling a hand bouncing the ball around as you would with a paddle in Breakout or any game of that nature. So to have something with a more gameplay intensive bent to it rather than just being, kind of an experience based game where you're just focusing on what your hand is doing is really novel and neat.
I was amazed at how well this game worked, both from a technical standpoint and just a fun standpoint. The fact that the entire back half of the game is so very many jump squats, and yet I still enjoy trying to single segment this.
Sure.
Now, I would recommend trying to single segment it.
As people are enthusiastic about running the likes of, Ring Fit.
And I would not recommend picking it up cold after 10 years and trying to single segment it. Ask me how I know.
Understandable.
But it's doable if you don't have anywhere to be for the next 2 or 3 days.
And you have a
did the submission video
referrals that are in good working order, all that good stuff.
And yeah, that's another point. Like, yes, the flux sensors may be on the way out, but everything else about Power Glove has held up. Even after, I think, 1991 is the year that's coming to mind as Power Glove launch.
Super Glove Ball looks like it was made in 1990, so thereabouts.
This is just a real straightforward.
I made the mistake of going over to Super Glove Ball's wiki page, set in the futuristic year of 2005. Oh no. I hate it when that happens.
All set. Oh. So, what's this?
I would say it's a pretty big glitch.
Yeah. So, this is the obligatory gimmick boss. It does have maximum HP. It has maximum agility. It has maximum agility, maximum attack. It only has 1 HP, and it only ever attacks up. So, once you learn that it only ever attacks up, you can just cheese it.
You're now permanently dodging. Excellent.
Yes. And now we are into, technically, the prelude to the boss rush. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have gained that many viewers. So I might actually not get a break because spoilers. Chaos
Unfortunately,
mode.
you are safe from the chaos, but that
Chaos mode is actually early game chaos mode might not be as much exertion as late game normal mode.
Got it.
But we'll see how far we get in late game normal mode. And if it's signed up for an hour, we might be a little bit behind. I will need you to let me know where we are on time.
We're just past the halfway point, all things considered.
Okay, and that means there is the barest possibility, if I am more in shape than I think I am, that we actually get a full clear. Unfortunately, because that
I'll be
means that I'm going
praying
to...
for, favorable RNG on lactic acid build up. Is that something you have to route for in speedrunning now? Then again, I suppose the likes of Ring Fit runners would know something about that. Very good. Yeah, at this point, it's not about the reaction time of, your eyes. It's the reaction time of everything else getting out of the way in time.
Yeah. Much though I'm starting to feel it, I should probably be light experience here. And also start swapping which hand I use for the third point of the crouch.
Makes sense.
Again, agility is the god stat, assuming you don't mind playing slow.
Right, if your intent is to clear, focus that first and then other things later. That makes sense. Oh no. Leveled up variations of earlier foes. I appreciate the quite probably Earthbound inspired naming schemes here. That or Dragon Warrior, or rather Dragon Quest as it's known internationally, had a terrific sense of humor for naming enemies in punny ways, especially with more difficult variations later in the game. Yeah, really strong. Yep. Please take whatever breaks, whatever adjustments you need here. I am hydrating right along with you.
So, that was, as you noted, hangs a lot. And the boss rush, even though this was a solo development project, the bosses are all allusions to entities who basically help me get where I am in NES development.
Got it. Well, that's lovely.
So, Purple Plague Arms. Unfortunately, this store, amazing retro video game store in Chicago, has now closed. They closed, I think, just before COVID, when the property owner for the whole block wanted to redevelop it into real estate. Only last time I was down there many years later, they still had not redeveloped it, so it lost
like,
a very
you
good
know,
store.
You can joke that in evolution, every carcinization, everything turns to crab eventually. With commercial real estate, everything turns to residential eventually.
But seriously, people play games just without even asking any questions. Let me walk out with a system and maybe even a power pad on loan to take this game to a local indie conference. Here I was developing it, so they got one of the first production copies of the game.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a small group of hobbyists that the normal showrunner of this show, Amber Cypern, and I became familiar with through running one of their projects that they later ported, you could say, to Steam. It's literally just like the original Atari 7800 homebrew project with a compatibility layer put on top of it to work on a modern PC. But we had the great benefit and great fortune of running it at one of our in-person events. And when we finished our run, we learned, we did not know this beforehand, that the dev lived a couple of states north of where the event is taking place in Boston. It was PAX East last year. And he was like, hey, I saw this was on the schedule. And I'm like, all right, I'm in driving distance. I'm getting a badge for this day because I want to see this. And like, came to meet us and take pictures. It was super cool. And then the soundtrack designer, the sound designer and composer for the run also chimed in on our video upload with like, hey, so there's this one other piece of speedrun tech that I figured out while we were play testing that I didn't see y'all do. So technically you have more work to do to optimize this run. Just the spirit of camaraderie and community in making these, what can you call them but passion projects happen is nothing short of inspiring.
So this is Robot Rost. Bob Rost, the guy who, as his engineering capstone, developed probably the first high-level language for NES programming, taught a student-taught for limited credit NES programming course that sort of got me into NES programming. This sprite is based on a character from his comic, and also a name that was a legitimate misprint on an event badge that he had at one point. This is also the kneecaps robot. He will make you jump a lot.
Got it.
He is real
Chris
tanky.
Cross will make you jump, and Bob Ross will make you jump. I like it. Uh-oh. All right, well, we might have to do some more jumping in our future. But yeah, no, this show and Amber are extremely typo and misspeak friendly, so we do enjoy our typos around here.
This is the point where I actually probably want to run for attack and or HP. Probably attack, just to get things down more quickly. HP is
The
not
easiest way to
great.
give your joints a break is to make the fights end faster. I get it.
Yeah.
Optimizing for the human element might be one of the more difficult parts of this run, as we're coming to learn 40 minutes in. Now, if you got like, if you got a surgery that involved putting in, a brace or other metallic joints, like a titanium rod or something, would it be considered a tool-assisted speedrun at that point?
I'll let the board decide that one. We'll switch to a slightly lighter sword, a Arc-branded Reset Stick Mini Bulbasaur version, for those keeping track.
Perfect. Well, to be fair, I suppose this can't really be done as anything other than a tool-assisted run, considering the number of peripherals involved. chat inventing their own GDQ themed emotes for jumping and ducking, moving in different directions.
Maybe some Mega Man 8. Jump, slide,
jump, jump, duck, duck. The slide, yeah. As someone who commentated for Mr. Cab doing that exact run, I had the fortune of yelling jump and slide on the GDQ stage a few years ago.
Okay, that was maybe the first time all run that I had gone for what should have been a hit, and it just didn't quite register.
Yeah, I saw that. The cursor was
Not
floating
bad
just
for
outside the
being
hit range several times.
3/4 of the way through the game, more or less.
Sure. Chat appreciating the quote-unquote downsized stick, which makes me, honestly, it makes me think of like a conductor's baton, which is very appropriate for what you're doing here. We've also got chat thinking of repeated commands invoking the likes of Parappa the Rapper.
Nice time for a crit when I rolled the 3 in the attack cycle. Need more of those.
Yeah, no, I would not say no at any point. Very nice.
Anytime you want to get that viewer count over 1,200, so I can get away from this guy. Robot.
I'm afraid
Also
I'm going to
has
have to suggest you pace yourself because I think we're in this for the long haul.
a lot of HP. Second
That's the way I
try,
know
not
this.
bad.
Considering how much active XP you were able to rack up during that fight. All right, we've got just about 15 minutes left.
Right. There is hope. Not maybe a whole lot of hope, but hope. Paul White, the aforementioned dev who worked on the Power Glove project in America, and who gave me good information both on Power Glove and Miracle Piano.
Is that another
His hobby
peripheral
company,
you've done
Electron
projects
Gate,
for?
was still around 10 years ago. I didn't stay in touch. I don't know how he's doing now, but
Sure.
shout out to Paul if you're out there.
Yeah, definitely. Those incidental contacts with people, like there have been in the 6 years that I've been involved in the speedrunning space, there's definitely been people who I've only interacted with like once or twice, but where a chance encounter made a big difference. And I've also had the great fortune of knowing that I was that person for a couple of people who do this, which is, you know, that's not exactly a feeling you can put a price on, but I really love when those opportunities happen. I'm always happy to talk about them, and cool to know that you are too.
Good news is Ghost type Paul White is, I think, the last agility check before the final boss.
Yeah, because that first attack was very fast the last time we were here, so let's see if we have just a little bit more time to react.
But the news for anyone crazy enough to speedrun this at top level is that even if the enemy outspeeds you by a whole heck of a lot, you still at least have the time between when they start moving and when they hit the sidewall. So
Okay.
if you are theoretically really on point, you could do without agility. I would not recommend it, but
Okay, yeah. So basically, we need a speedrunner who is also like a professional dancer, somebody who's just extremely limber in that way. I have met with speedrunners in so many different professions over the last few years. I would not at all be surprised if there are at least a few who are professional or at least enthusiast dancers in other parts of their life. Honestly, one of the other parts for me that I don't know if runners under a certain age can really appreciate appropriately, especially coming back at this 10 years later, is how your knees are holding up at this point, almost 50 minutes in. That's that would be my point of failure trying to do this for 50 minutes, I think.
my knees have been shot since high school. I was a breaststroker.
They've always been this way. Got it.
A decade. A breaststroker who then went on to hike the presidential range several summers.
Oh, wow.
30-pound pack.
Sure.
So, yeah. The go-ups and the go-downs did not do good things. But
No,
since
I
I'm
can
doing
imagine.
a lot more walking these days, that is doing a lot to keep the joint jointed. So,
Yes. Yeah. Regular exercise improves and preserves joint mobility. If it's not something you're already doing for yourself, consider it, even if just for a few minutes each day.
so I am having trouble remembering if there is anyone between Paul White and the final boss.
Got it.
So there is a chance that this is the final boss coming up. If so, the production cartridge has a bonus that the ROM on my website that runs on Flashcart does not. There is enough space beyond that Mapper Zero basic
Right.
ROM to fit an entire new BGM into the game. So Final Boss has a battle remix.
I see.
Which, even if Final Boss is up next, we might not hear for very long. We might still need to do some grinding. Yep.
I recognize that name.
Yep. If anyone would appreciate this game and what I have done,
Yes.
I gotta figure it would be Gunpei Yokoi, one of the technological fathers of Nintendo, whose philosophy, I believe, was, I may be missing a word here, but I think it translated to basically wonderful experiences with withered technology, referring to the fact that the NES and similar generations of Nintendo console were really based on processors, chips that had been around for 5-10 years and were reaching the end of life. Like the 6502 in the NES was not a brand new processor. It was a graduate of the Apple II, among others, and several other early desktop PCs of the same era.
I've got it here for you. Karate Gijutsu no Shuhei or lateral thinking with withered technology or seasoned technology, depending on how you want to translate it.
So, if anyone could appreciate coming back to two peripherals that never really took off beyond a couple games, and giving them the game that they were meant to have, if anyone could have afforded to sell a game that required two expensive
Multiple
peripherals.
peripherals, right. But yes, I have little doubt that the creator of the Virtual Boy, which also just saw a resurgence somehow, would approve.
The Virtual Boy is a whole aside that I don't really have the brain power for right now, but TLDR, having looked at the Virtual Boy Sacred Scrolls, there are actually, at a hardware level, more ways to set up the Virtual Boy display system to give you a headache and or break the hardware than there are to set it up to give a genuinely good image. It's possible to set it up to give a genuinely good image, but it is not
there's a really fascinating video that came out as they were announcing the re-release of Virtual Boy hardware and the accessibility of Virtual Boy on Switch 2, where somebody took the visor and showed how it scans images at extremely high rates across the screen at a very small portion at a time. I strongly recommend looking up. If I get a chance to find the video, I might link it in the chat, but it's a relatively recent documentary / showcase of how the Virtual Boy's display technology works.
I actually have a consoleized Virtual Boy. The reason I consoleized it was because one of the eyepieces started to fail. I took it apart after reading up on how to remelt the connectors, reflow the solder.
Sure.
Overcooked the solder to the point where it was never going to be repairable, but it could be convertible into dual VGA output. I have ever since been looking for a headset that takes 2 independent video feeds, which are, you basically don't see those. They were around in the very early VR 90s.
Right.
But anything now, well, there's a lot more 3D nowadays. It's all combined feed, and when you have 2 independent video streams, you gotta assume that they're going to be running on different clocks, so you can't just wire bodge them together.
Right. I wonder if that recently re-released Virtual Boy, the hardware you can buy from Nintendo, actually works on the same auspices that the original did. I have to imagine the fact that it hooks up to a Switch means it probably runs off of more modern display technology, but...
What time do we have left, by the way?
You've got about 4.5 minutes.
Okay. We'll go for it.
Let's do it. Oh,
that was my
jumped right into it there.
I have this if I react right. But I kind of feel like I should try for 1 more HP level.
By all means.
But I don't know what that's going to cost as far as runtime.
Hey, you don't worry about that.
You can see
a minute or 2 to show off everything the game has to offer. I think that's perfectly fine.
We have only gone back to the beginning of the boss rush, and we are already way, almost detrimentally outspeeding.
Right. The speed differential, the agility is so high now that the dodge time has actually gotten kind of long, all things considered.
So now it's yoga, which previously I hadn't considered as being part of this game, but...
I mean, it's good cooldown from all the exercise over the course of the last hour. Going into yoga is great cooldown at the end of a cardio session.
Honestly, I was not, as of the submission video, thinking that I would even have a chance of clearing this during the actual run. So just to be here with a chance, it's pretty amazing. And hopefully, I will not be wrecked for quite as long. Did the submission video on a Saturday. I was recovered mostly by the following Wednesday. Mostly.
Sounds about right.
So I said HP. Now I don't remember how much Yokoi actually hits for. If it is 20, we're still in a bad place.
Right. Still in one hit range. Well, hey, if we don't get hit at all, we don't have to find out.
That is the green.
And for those of you who may not know what Gunpei Yokoi looks like, if you've only heard the name, that is in fact exactly what his haircut looks like.
Yeah, we need one more hit. Sure, I guess. Ooh, with all the agility I pumped for the final boss, we are
Right,
also
everything else feels like it's moving in slow motion.
we are also outspeeding the last agility gate. So, yeah, this is going to be our grind fight if we need to grind.
Makes sense. We've also got a link to Psych software in the chat if anybody wants to check that out while we finish up our grinds and close out the run here.
Specifically, /portfolio will get you
Yep.
closer
we
to
got
the
it right, dude.
downloads.
Slash portfolio and then tab software, a sub tab game. So I think we've gotten people linked to right where they'll want to go first.
Website has not been updated since I was last unemployed, so it's a little bit dated, but at least it's still fairly clean. And I do need to get a couple other projects posted to it, like my telepresence VTuber robot, or
Okay, all right.
my Nest filter.
You're speaking words that speak to the people who participate in this show regularly.
Or like I showed off just this past April Fool's Day, a video including live camera to real-time ASCII art app in a website.
That's a level beyond, when it comes to outdated peripherals doing interesting things. I always think of Pidge01 and her Game Boy camera webcam feed.
That was the inspiration for my VTuber and for the NES graphics stack emulating shader that, for all those keeping track, you'll be seeing next week plus one day when I'm back on Passion Puzzles.
Nice. That's
HP.
fantastic. Something to look forward to.
HP is what we're going for here. There's also a little bit of a technique for these dodges, learning how to most efficiently crossover sidestep instead of
Sure.
2 feet.
Oh,
I jumped and didn't press jump. Game hates me.
We're all the way back to the call back to the beginning lesson before we got started.
This really is a rough decision to just push through on boss attempts or spend more time grinding.
Sure.
If I read all the attacks, I got it. If I don't read all the attacks, we have problems. And that's the nature of this game. You can be very near the end, and suddenly you've got 10 more minutes of grinding that you realize you need to do, even though you feel so close to actually beating the game.
So you're saying your encounter difficulty might have a few spikes in it, in cases of more than just agility gating.
That's really just the final boss.
Yeah.
It ramps. It's not... There are some spikes, but really it's the late game full-on ramp that makes the late game take as much or more time than the early game. So I think I'll put whatever levels I get here into HP and probably attack, and then give it one more go. And if that doesn't work out, I'll film what I want to show. And I would like to be functional on Monday, so...
I was going to say, we really don't want you to do extended or perhaps even irreparable harm to yourself while showcasing here on Passion Project. That is not the name of the game.
That's just delayed onset muscle soreness in every the thing.
Granted.
I said it. I promised before the stream in the back room that I will call it if I am actually injured. I will not injure myself for content, but I will wear myself out for dramatic effect.
Yeah, it's funny with all the walking I did at PAX, probably a couple of miles each day. It's not that the muscles or the ligaments were really that bad, but like the bottom of my feet, there were just a couple of spots where I must have been like the shoes I was wearing were ones that were supposed to be built more for comfort for the long amounts of walking. And I gave myself a couple of unexpected hot spots on the soles of my feet that were bothering me for the next couple of days.
Yeah. That is at least not a danger here because the power pad even itself says, do not wear shoes. So, socks and bare feet only. I've already moved from slippers to socks for just a little bit of weight savings.
Now imagine playing this run on a different difficulty and having to dodge several times in a row before it gets to be your turn again.
Exactly. Where I say chaos mode where there are no turns. It all just happens. Oh, I heard a B-dupe. Hopefully all the hardware's still
you're
there.
Good. Yep.
It gotta be close.
I was gonna say, I appreciate that in true game designer fashion, you made the last fight just as hard in every other aspect, including the amount of reflexes it's asking of you. There it is.
Time.
All clear.
And yes, game continues. You can keep on refighting whoever you want. Save your game, keep your password. There might be a max password speedrun category, but that was 8-Bit Hero Trainer. This was Power Glove. This was on real, actual hardware.
There it is. Shout out to the top loader.
And
Yeah.
this is the game.
Anything else from you at this point, Prof? Oh, very cool. Thank you for showing us the box art as well.
I have 10 physical copies still available, boxed with manual. Anyone who's interested can ping me offline. I do not have a storefront. This is the only thing I've ever considered self-selling, but if you saw this and want a copy, there are still copies available. Other than that, thanks for having me, and I'm willing to send it back whenever you want.
I will take that back from you as you pass me the conductor's baton and ask you to take care of yourself and take some deep breaths. Let that lactic acid disperse, and thank you so much for showing off 8-Bit Hero Trainer. And welcome back to Passion Project. Thanks for joining us. Hope you took care of yourself during that brief break if you needed to. I know one other runner who is looking forward to taking care of themselves. We had our whole bodies get limbered up during that previous run of 8-Bit Hero Trainer. Now it's down to just the fingers with our friend Nico Hart doing an Everhood 2 boss rush on something real special. So Nico, why don't you show us how those fingers can dance?
Look at this little thing. Look at this little thing. It's the mini DDR controller. Like, oh, it's a toy technically, but it's an actual functioning mini DDR thing. I'm going to pause the game music so I can actually have a listen to what it looks like. But here we go. It turns on because I managed to program it. I'll talk about it in a second. And I press like start down, and it's like, yeah, keep on moving. DMCA. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no, it's got to be the classic third mix. I could tell from the display right away. Yeah.
I made this on a very lovely New Year's Day because I was bored and I got a new controller. So, yeah, so what I've done is I've put an Arduino inside of it. I've reprogrammed it so I can do directional buttons. So this is going to be left, up, and right. This is going to be down for, I think it's down. No, it's going to be Q. And then this is going to be W, I think it is. I can't remember the inputs. It works. So, before we get anywhere, hi, I'm Nico. I am an enigma of different weird controllers. I love to do very many crazy things. It is currently 6:09 in the morning, so forgive me if I'm a little bit tired. As per normal, these late kind of nights are always going to be fun, but we are doing Everhood 2 today. Everhood 2 is a literal gem of a game. I did have a note for what the game was about, and I completely decided to remove the tab. But it's a rhythm action RPG with an incredible story. It is honestly one of my all-time favorite series, Everhood and Everhood 2. I would urge everybody to play the game if you haven't had a chance to already. It's great, honestly. But specifically, what we're doing today is a boss. I would say a boss, but like, you know, sort of like an enemy showcase of like different enemies that you'll fight for the game, and then some of the bosses as well. We do have about a 30-minute time limit, so we'll see how much I can do. A tea tree, by the way, thank you for the shout out to PAX, by the way. I was there for that. When you were doing your commentary with King J, that was lovely of you. What was it? Have you played Everhood before?
I have played the first one. I have not played 2.
Because the difference between Everhood 1 and Everhood 2 is that we get to attack in Everhood 2. You'll see this momentarily. I'm going to start a timer just so I can see just how long I have for this run, because I do have, like, say a set list of bosses and enemies that I can fight. I would love to show some more, but if I don't get the time, I don't get the time. So Yeah, I did get permission that we could possibly go over a little bit. I mean, depending if I die, because some of the later bosses are going to be very challenging. You'll see. Right.
You mean in game,
yes,
right?
In game.
Right, because we know you haven't slept, so.
Look, I tried to sleep, but the pressure is real. The timer starts.
Understandable.
The timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, let's do this. So this is going to be tutorial avoid zombie climax. Now, during these little bits, I won't be talking because this gets very, very intense. You'll see why straight away. Also, Tech, if you want to just crank the music up during the sections, I do not blame you. Also, yes.
Yeah, I might already be doing that on my end.
Also, just as a heads up, lots of flashing light warnings. So if you are prone to photosensitivity and epilepsy, there is probably a big warning on the screen, but just as a heads up, just for all of you lovely folks.
Yeah, I think the attack effects might not be the worst part, but definitely when you sent the attack back and the damage number popped, there was enough of a flashing effect that might be notable.
Wait till you see the later bosses. That's all I'm going to say for the meantime. And if I do die and I just think it's not worth me continuing, I'm just going to go into the next boss. So just as a heads up as well for those who are curious. But I want to see all the dancing modes, all the jamming modes for this because the music in this game is incredible. There we go. Okay, next one. Also, I'm doing this all on hard difficulty as well, just for people to be aware of.
Yes.
Joan d'Arc is the next one. This should be about a minute.
Sure, that's exactly what I would have expected to be coming up second during this.
Let's go this way. I love this theme here. It's so lovely.
Yeah, no, definitely other indie games of similar presentation that might use themes like this for a night-themed character.
Ideally, what I want to do, is I want to try to stack up as many notes as I can to be able to give the biggest damage outputs. I am rushing a little bit, but that's understandably so that's okay. So you can see there, certain colors do super effective moves.
Different kinds. Got it. Okay.
You see those little hold notes? I can just hold down on the the little down button here, and that will allow me to just get a lot of extra notes. There are wavy notes as well, which gives you 3 per, but they are very difficult to get. I'm going to try in the later bosses to see if I can do it. Right, let's see what's happened here. I'm going to try to risk it for a little bit more. Go, let's see how this does. That's the first boss down. Let's go.
Very nice.
5-star.
Yeah, as Chad is describing, if you happen to be watching the chat, there is kind of an Ikaruga style system where you are looking to get consecutive pieces of the same color or, beats of the same flavor, essentially, to charge up your attacks.
Exactly that. Oh, by the way, I love Ikaruga. I love that game. Had that on the GameCube way back when, and it's still a classic to my heart. Chase's theme is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now we're getting into the, you're not wrong about the flashing imagery, but it really enhances the quality of the electronic jams here.
It gets a little bit wackier later on, so just again, if you are a little bit prone to it, please do take care of yourself. It's very important for your healthcare. There we go.
Oh, yeah, here come the jams. Oh, and already over. Well,
that's just a little bit over what I estimated, but that's fine. So normally about 30 seconds. I'm going to skip over a lot. We're going to go over to the Hostile Dimension Rift, which is this one over here. Now, you obviously seen that, quite a bit of the look of the game is just very straightforward, but the game has a lot of visual effects for its positioning and it's just its general theme. So you can see here, there's not many of the bars surrounding it. There's the big sort of grids that you can see. Very Matrix-y, which is quite nice. Ugh, close. Okay. I should really be good.
Yeah, this really engages my rhythm gamer brain sense of all right, now that I know I'm locked into this particular track or instrument, I'm just trying to find the best way to navigate this section of the level, this phrase of the song, essentially.
Absolutely, yes.
very audio surf coded in the kind of parts of your brain you're looking to engage.
I just lost like a 50 combo there. That's really aggravating, but it's fine. I might still be able to keep this going, but I might skip it if I am taking a bit too many hits over here. So let's have a look. See, I want to try to probably start going for pink in a second.
Yeah, I saw that purple pink was our super effective
yes,
damage
exactly.
type.
Let's go for pink here. There we go. That might be enough. Hey, let's go. God, I love this game so much. It's so good. A little bit over the time, but that's fine. I was supposed to do Crop Turbine, but I think I'm going to skip that because Crop Turbine is very challenging. And you know what? It's late. I don't want to give myself too much of a hard time right now. So we're going to go to, I think this is Frankie. Yes. Frankie is one of the...
I was going to say, it's your showcase, Nico, so build it however you like.
Oh, this one. Oh, yes, there are Omega notes. Say, obviously, any color goes. But if you do pick up a color in between a bit, it just stacks onto that one, basically. And you can see that these ones are... I should probably stop talking. You can see that there are some that aren't colored. Those are just like straight, like, don't even bother with them. You will get hurt. So...
That's what I was figuring. They kind of look like top hats, and I thought maybe that was intentional for theming, but...
So the longer nose you can see there, the one that, as you said, looks like top hats. Those, if you do have a weak attack, you can't throw an attack back through it easily. You have to have like over 15, which is like a shield breaker in a sense.
Okay.
Let's see if this does anything. Okay, not bad. I can just do that. And...
Yeah.
That.
Oh, wait.
Yay!
One more. There we are.
Easy. All right. So we got Frankie here, which is like sort of like later in the game. We're going to go to another of the ghouls, which is Junker. Now, you do get different weapons, as you can see here. I'm just going to be sticking with my main weapon for the meantime. Right, I've got to focus up. There we go. Also, for those who are curious, like underneath the little handlebars on the controller, there is another smaller button, which is what I'm doing to send back the attack, if you've been wondering how I've been doing that. So there are technically six inputs on this device. Oh, God, okay. I should focus for now.
By all means.
You're not focusing?
If you need, if you literally need a ripcord out of commentary, my preferred phrase when solo commentating is hold please.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll do whatever I was going to do and get back to it.
Groovy. Screw. Okay, we're going to move over to the next one just because I was not the main menu. Okay.
No, you might have moved a bit too far there.
I wrote, do I take Kazakh? Sure. Why not? I can't remember how this one goes.
Perfect.
By the way, I'm pretty much sight reading all of this as well.
Of course you are. I have this sinking suspicion you're not going to see another pink note anytime soon. Oh, there they are.
Oh, you have to overstep.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's why I need to just, hang on. Yeah, it's
nasty.
Move over. This is why I said, do I want to take it? No.
Right. When you get to the point that every other 16th note is a separate color, that's pretty spicy.
You have to really time it so well for those ones. Oh yeah, this one by the way, Kazakh's Time Protector. This is a cool one for a very specific reason. When you see the little hits come down, I don't know if it does it in this one specifically, but in the main game, it actually changes the camera position, like, you know, to a little bit to the left, to the right, up and down.
I see.
It's very clever, like very clever. Ooh, nearly done. Ooh. Ah. Do something. Do something. Hey. I love how like anticlimactic this is when the music stops.
I was just saying, like, as cool as it is to finish off a boss with a big, like, 50-hit combo, it's not strictly necessary for the purposes of what we're doing
now,
here.
does everybody in the chat and Itchy Treat, do you like squirrels?
Squirrels are all right. I like them about as much as they like me.
Ooh. I think you might like these squirrels in a second, by the way. Like you'll see why.
Okay.
Okay, send this off.
Okay, so we're on a red carpet runway with all the squirrels down the sides. Ah, yeah, okay. I can see why we were going for orange now.
Let's see if that does anything.
Okay, I don't like what we have on screen now with the sprite of the X squirrels.
Don't worry, X squirrels, X times 0 more like.
Ah, yes, fair.
Okay, what do I have? We are 11 minutes 50, nearly 12 minutes. We're gonna go for Rasputin.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Oh boy. Everybody. Wave, left, right, left, right, left. Bam.
Is there really a better spoiler-free way you could introduce people to this game than by just showing them all the bosses? Because without context, there's really no way to make sense of any of what's happening here.
You are a light being. You got to try to get back, I think it's part of you or like something like that. But, and in the end, you got to fight God, basically.
Okay, so it is a traditional RPG in that regard.
Oh, body music's picking up.
Yep. Every time we take a swig, it gets faster. Makes sense. Woohoo! Nice double step.
It was close. Song's so good. Let's try that. Ooh.
Feels like something that would come out. Oh boy. Well, we're really in it now.
I'll go for these ones.
Yeah. This makes me think of, oh gosh, what is it? There's one of those piano YouTube channels that does kind of a visual representation of the notes coming down the staff.
Is it like music score or something?
And I couldn't say for sure. Like, I know there's a style for it, but there's one in particular where their video themes is like they play this song, but as it goes on, it gets harder. That's kind of what we're seeing here.
Don't worry, it ain't no Roshi, man.
Your phase of it is the
Roshi.
Right. Right. Yes.
Oh, whatever. Okay, moving on. Now it's Rasputin. Right, what have we got next? We've got The Abyss. Ooh.
I like that movie, all right.
Make sure that this is in view. Spooky. I love this one. Like the ending thing, like the ending section to this song as well is really, really cool. I actually had like somebody in my DMs the other day, like, what is this part of the song? It's like, took me ages to find because there's only like a section of this full song. It's the amount of production that's been put into this, like the music in a sense, is just incredible. All right, let's do this. I think I just gotta.
Oh, it's Rhythm Heaven. I know what this. I know
If
this
I recall
game.
correctly, this is just a survivor-thon, so I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah, no, I kind of got that sense.
Here comes the visual effects.
Yep. Shout out to the Yarg and Clone Hero communities for coming up with charts like this for many years now.
Also, I'm doing this thing here where I jump and I go left to right. And it does that little sort of like spinny, that spinny move there. That's a good strat for later. Oh, follow ye! Yeah, boy!
Nice job keeping the outside edge for just long enough to
you
catch
heard
your
me
breath.
there. I almost did.
Yeah, you got your own speedrunner noises in, which you wouldn't think would be the most common during a rhythm
No, not at
showcase,
all.
but there's still always a possibility.
Oh, close. Also, Gnomes is a massive part of the game as well, so just know Everhood and
Of
Gnomes
course.
is a big component. Now we're coming up close to the end.
Time to gently oscillate. Apparently you asked for this. Hey Chad, did you ask for this?
I did. So did Amber,
fair.
technically.
True.
It was so funny, like when Amber was conceptualizing the show, like obviously like I hit them up immediately, being like, okay, we need to do something. And just like in that period of time had built the, you know, the DDR controllers, like, what can I do with this? This. Yeah.
Nice. Score 0. Perfect.
I love it so much. Right. I'm going to do one more basic one, and then we're going to move over to the harder bosses. And when I say the harder bosses, I am going to be fixating so much. Oh, okay. I've got to do it.
Yes, Stone Silent.
I got to do
gotcha.
Dimension Master because I want everybody in the chat to go, ooh, ah, because you'll see why in a second.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll send it. Oh, damn.
I appreciate the Dimension Master giving us the rhythm parts there. Laying down the backing track himself.
Okay, I'm going to try to send this.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
There we go.
time.
Lovely.
Hey,
I'll
nice.
take that. Right. We're going to be moving over to the important part of the showcase, which is going to be the late bosses. This is going to be like Dragon Phase. This dragon has got 3 phases. These are very, very, very... Oh, by the way, look at all of these enemies, by the way. Like,
Yeah, I'm seeing there was a number of things there. They go on a pizza. I think there was a Microsoft Word assistant from like 1997. Several
That's a
things that I couldn't
castle.
describe if you asked me to.
that's one I
Yeah,
definitely can't show off. Anyway, we got Dragon Phase 1. Let's do this.
That's a dragon. Yep, sure. Okay.
Right, I'll see you lot after this one.
Yeah, I appreciate the idea of a rhythm game that takes this much license to play around with not just the gameplay elements, but really to make the other elements that support the gameplay and the experience match in terms of being disorienting, because they're really trying to do whatever they can, as I'm sure is happening in the game as well, to distract you from keeping up with the relatively simple gameplay loop of being in the right lane for the right note at the right time. In much the same way as a, Guitar Hero, Clone Hero, etc. does that. There are charters out there that do things just beyond just, presenting things down the chart in a different way. There are definitely charts that give this more full screen presentation. Absolutely.
Oh, my fingers are going weird there. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time, just because I will need absolute focus for a moment here. Also, the ones that you saying that look like Clippy was actually part of RAM, which was like a float, ball, car, or char even. So that's kind of like a whole other component of the game. Is you go down sort of like a trip down the motherboard of these imitation Sega console, basically.
Perfect. But I'm just saying, before we get back to the focus part again, do you know how hard it was to not say, what was it, Grunkle Sunkle when it came up on the screen? I will hold again, but I needed to say it.
I wasn't even looking at the text, I won't lie.
Fair. You have more important things to do.
Like these oncoming notes to attack and hit back. Oh my goodness me, okay. You know, actually, I'll do one quick reset and absolute focus for this bit. Here we go.
Got it.
So I had like 50 at that point, so yeah. Even though it wasn't an effective move, it still would have been good to actually initially throw it at them, basically. All right, take it easy here. Send. All right, 1,700 cents. Now I'm going to focus for the pink notes because they are the super effective ones. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll send this. Oh my god, that's so close. Oh. I'll send that. 1,300 left. Now this is where it gets a little bit trippy, so I've got to focus up here. Yeah, I lost my focus. No, my focus is just where I was looking there for a second. I don't know what I'm looking at. Surprised I survived that. Let's try sending this.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Nearly.
Damn close.
Because there's no death-defying system on this bit. If I die, basically. So I'm going to keep a good eye on my health as well at the same time. Hey! Yay, nice. Okay.
Do it. Yeah.
Oh, Dragon Phase 1. Phase 2 gets even more intense. So if you thought that was tough,
Of course.
here we go, Phase 2. Oh god, it's light outside. Oh, okay. Anyway. Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I think you had the right idea there, sticking to the outside for sections where you're just trying to preserve an existing
Yep.
combo. Back to it.
This is what I mean. Phase 2 can get so intense straight away. So I'm going to do 2 more.
I don't have a metronome handy, but I feel like this is probably approaching 200 BPM.
Something like that. Send. And this is why I wanted to show this one, because this section here is one of the coolest productions. It's so beautiful. And this is like the main motif of the game as well. For those who are musically inclined, they understand what I mean by motif, but think of it like as a
leitmotif.
like a commonplace sort of like a melody that the game will constantly use, if that makes sense.
A recurring element typically used to call back to an emotion at a later
Thank you very
time
much,
to
yeah.
recontextualize.
Oops.
Yes, anyone who's played Undertale is very familiar with leitmotif.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. This one is too tough to show. Phase 3!
Okay, sure.
And you can tell why this is Phase 3, because look at that guy going wild over there. Buck wild.
Yeah, a wee bit unstable.
Nah, I lost it there at the end. Oh. Sent. Good.
I think this might be the first phase we've actually seen cycle all the way around, which answered a question I had.
Send. I might just be able to do this.
Yeah, this is the super effective flavor, so I think you got it there.
That's
very
tough.
nice. Hey, and a high score.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take that. I think we said we can run a little bit over, so I'll do.
Yeah, you got time for like.
Yeah,
two
cool.
more.
I'll do Bobo then, which is like one of the main kind of villains of this game, basically. We need to go. Actually, I'll restart quickly. So I wanted to start with green. And this one's going to take a lot of focus, so I will be back after this.
All you.
Now, these are the wavy notes I was talking about beforehand. You can see how painful they are. And I'm surprisingly doing okay. I'll send that. All right.
Half? We take that. Oh, yes. And now we've got wavy notes that are all danger flavored.
That one is really tough.
Fair.
The reason that I wanted to show at least one more is due to it being this is the final one. This is called the End of Time. This is kind of like one of the finishing bosses of the game. And I managed to finally do this in practice. So I want to absolutely focus on this because this is gonna be extremely trippy visually. It is an amazing song, so hold your seats for a second, I guess, because we're about to go in, all right? All right, I'll see you on the other side, y'all. Send the attack now, just get out of the way. So I can see the health bar as well. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Oh, okay, one more time.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what I'm doing at that little bit, like when you see like everything going crazy for a moment, is that I'm jumping up constantly to avoid some oncoming notes, especially whilst everything's going around in circles and stuff. And then as soon as you get launched back in, it's just another onslaught. So I'm just trying to jump to initially get to a point where I can take in some other, some other notes and stuff, but it's just not easy at all. So here we go. Ooh, starting on 26, nice. Nice. Okay, send it now. Pressing up constantly to jump. Okay, that's a little bit of damage there. Take it easy. All right, here we go. Damn. Careful, no death defiances. Actually, I think we do have one, but we do have none. Okay, last try, and that'll be me. Because
Sure.
I gotta get my rest at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, I would recommend it. We do generally encourage that sort of thing
That's
around
true.
here. But before you get into the hard part of the final attempt here, an amusing anecdote, which is that I somehow managed to hit a button on my keyboard that muted your audio coming in from the Discord share right in between the phases. So I thought, oh, okay, they're asking you to play without music for a little bit. And then you restarted, and I'm like, wait, there's still no music. This must be on my end.
Classic. We're all prone to making silly, fun mistakes like that, aren't we?
Always. That's what it's about. That's what it's about around here. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's almost all of it. Can't complain about that. So close. That genuinely felt like the equivalent of like an MMO raid DPS check. Oh, you're not done yet? All right, perish.
Hey, Tech, should we do one more? Should we just do it? All right. That's confirmed.
Yeah, we've got the thumbs
confirmed.
up. Send it.
Like, I had like 500 HP left. Like, that feels a bit, like, not bittersweet ending at that point, right?
Understandable.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Understandable. Have a pleasant end of time.
Nice. I see chat wanting one more as well. Don't worry, we give it to you. You want some, I'll give it you. The most British mean possible. Anyway. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, that was so close. Okay, that'll be me. That's me done. I tried my damnedest, but you know what? It wasn't meant to be. Hey, I got pretty close though, so that's time.
Yeah, no, you got to show up a lot of fun stuff, and hopefully you didn't hurt your fingers.
My fingers are okay. Like, you know, half an hour.
Okay, good.
40 minutes of like finger pushing. It's fine. Don't worry about it. When I was doing streams, I was practicing for about like 3 hours, and by the end of it, I was like, ow. So with the small little like you know, the little pad that I got here, like the little handlebar here that I have as well. Like, it's sometimes my fingers can get a little bit like, you know, hit, if that makes sense. So
yeah, sure.
It's fun. It's fun. Like, regardless, like, this is such a funny controller that I made. It's the first time that I've actually made a controller that actually still functions in the sense of me actually replacing the voltage of the battery. So technically the battery is USB-C. Okay. Surprisingly.
Nice.
But yeah, so if you want to see like other kind of like weird controllers I do, in my arsenal I've made like a DSLR camera controller. That's right, a Canon 5D Mark III as a game controller. Yep. I've done steering wheels, DJ decks. I've turned
bicycle.
Yeah, did a bicycle run of Undertale. One of them runs on Passion Projects, which is actually kind of fun. I turned a rat into a game controller from Rat Shaker, so that's another thing I did as well.
Yes, we had people in the chat saying, "Oh, now can we run this with the Rat Shaker rat?"
No. Anyway,
just shake the rat to the left and right to go change lanes.
But yeah, I've done plenty of things. I'm sure many other things are going to be coming up soon. I'm actually working. Well, depending on when I wake up, I'm working on a controller in the afternoon, evening. We'll see, but
right. Yes, pick your time of day as your body sees fit.
We'll see. Life is always but a chaos, like a chaotic mess. And you know what? It's always a pleasure to be able to show just how chaotic I can be and all the weird things that we can do and all the cool alternative controllers that are possible in the realms of all the other content creators. Amber, thank you so much for setting up the show. As always, you're a diamond in the rough, and I appreciate all of you, all of the crew getting involved as well. And also, Amber, feel better soon, buddy. And Tea Tree, thank you for being a lovely host as well. And if you want to find me on the internet, Nika Hart on Twitch. I also DJ, Nika Hart DJ, YouTube, Twitter, the Blue Skies, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the other social media platforms that I may not have listed. And I'll be on when I'm next on, depending when my sleep wants to show.
When you're up
when
again.
I'm up again, when I
plus a
do
few
things, I
hours.
don't know. Follow me. You'll find me out.
Yes, thank you very much, Nico Hart, a consummate performer, the kind you don't have to ask for shoutouts. They're just already on the way. Thank you so much for showing off Everhood 2 and for capping off another fantastic episode of Passion Project. If you enjoy what we do here on Passion Project, know that the show will be back in 2 weeks with Amber, April 17th at 10 p.m. Eastern, and you can tune in tomorrow for more speedrunning fun at 1 p.m. with Oops All Halo. Thanks so much.